Hello, everyone, and welcome to RPGeeks. Let me shout over my intro. God damn it. Welcome to the RPGeeks, where we do Dungeons and Dragons science set in the sci-fi world of Braxugantu. The four of us are science communicators who really love playing D&D and talking about the science behind the sci-fi concepts that come up in the game. That's what we're going to be doing in a sec, but first, let's introduce ourselves. My name's Shamini Bandel. I'm a science video producer, and I love tabletop role-playing games. Simon.
Hello, my name's Simon. I use he, him pronouns, and I make video things. Sometimes they're live, sometimes they're not. And I also do talking things on stage, including where I'm going to be talking soon on a stage with Emily Bates.
Hello, that's right. New Scientist Live. Come check us out at London XL. XL London. I'm Emily Bates.
Do the whole thing again. We've made a mistake.
This message.
Repeat.
I use she, her pronouns, and I'm also in the RPGeeks. Ali Jennings.
I use he, him pronouns, and my name's Ali Jennings, and I'm a science video maker, and I sort of write copy and all that stuff, and that's about it. I'm the DM. And most importantly, it's now my absolute pleasure to segue smoothly.
Oh, professional.
Oh, so professional.
Oh, so professional. I could barely speak. I'm smiling so smug. To the DnDebrief.
DnDebrief. That's my soundtrack. That's my theme tune. Okay, what are we talking about, Ali? What are we talking about this week, please?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me, Emily Bates.
You're so welcome.
My mind has just gone.
Anytime, Ali.
My mind is just completely checked out after that last interaction. A little ghost of my brain has just gone. You can stay, but I'm leaving.
We're having a lovely time, everyone. We're having a lovely time.
I am glad you asked me that, Emily Bates, because this is a good one. This is like. So what I thought is, for my D&D briefs, what I want to talk about is like fundamental science that underpins the universe that we're in, and which makes it the way that it is. So like some choices that had to be made in this sci-fi universe.
In the world building.
Exactly, so much world building. I love it so much. Oh, it's a whole cupboards full of worlds I've created, and so we've been hanging from
cupboards of worlds.
It's very dark.
Oh god, Jupiter's fallen out. It's like when you shut the cupboard.
Yeah, exactly. You're like,
everything falls out, all these moons.
Hope the gravity wells keep all that in there. Nice. I'm reading my notes. I literally just read what I was about to read.
What bit of world building are we talking about,
Ali? What key feature of this universe is relevant to today's topic?
So the crucial fact about this, right? When you're building a sci-fi world, like the massive thing is, can you travel faster than light? Therefore, making like interplanetary hopping a sort of boing, we're there. We're zooming all over the place. And crucially, in this universe, you cannot travel faster than light, right? Which basically affects everything, because it takes hundreds and hundreds of years, centuries to get between any sort of different systems. Fundamentally changes the way that you might do trade, do war, do culture, everything. And it, changes, it just makes things very, very kind of like spicy when it comes to,
It's a huge limitation, which is why so many sci-fi universes consciously ignore it.
They'll
come up with some, but it's always different. If I was
building a world, I'd just be like, yeah, it's fine, you can go fast.
Because like in Star Trek, it's subspace that they go through in the warp. In Star Wars, it's hyperspace particles that mean they can travel faster than light. In Warhammer, they literally just take a shortcut through hell. Nice. Stargate, it's just like teleportation.
Why can't we just do that? That's scientific.
You don't want to do that.
A shortcut through hell.
I have so many books behind me on why that is a bad idea.
I want to play Warhammer. Okay.
So, right, but before I sort of get into how you would otherwise travel if you couldn't travel faster than light, let's just first ask the question, right? Could you ever travel faster than light?
Oh, no.
Right. Let me pull you right up there, Emily Bates.
Okay.
Theoretically, you could travel faster than light, he said, hitting the mic, and you're so enthused. So can you travel faster than light? Theoretically, yes. If you can expand space behind you
Stop it.
and compress the space in front of you, right? So if you imagine all YouTube listeners, look at my fingers. Everyone else, just imagine my fingers.
Someone call you YouTube watchers.
Readers. All YouTube readers, look at his fingers.
Readers of YouTube, this one's for you. So you can imagine it, right? If you are the space between my two thumbs, if you expand the space behind you and contract the space in front of you, you move in space without actually moving over the space that you're in. Does that make sense?
So what Ali is doing is like pincering one finger and thumb and expanding the other one, but the space between his thumbs
and everybody can
are
learn.
like the same.
Yeah, that is called the Alcubierre drive. Alcubierre drive.
Yeah.
It is Simon. It's a very famous postulation as to how you could travel at warp speed, and theoretically it works. The only problem is that with that maths, you would require absolutely vast quantities of mass to bend the space around you, and that mass ends up being the entire mass.
Mass can bend space, which is why a black hole is
gravity, going in.
Yeah,
indeed. There's some stuff
gravitational
about
waves
in there as well, but I don't really want to.
Okay.
Simon's touching his face a lot, and I feel like he wants to jump in. I'm just going to hit you with this fact.
Go for it.
And then I'm going to step out the stage. Right. So according to the calculations, like Alcubierre's calculations, if you wanted to transport something 100 meters wide, you would need the mass of the entire visible universe.
Wow.
What? So for how far? 120 meters.
No, not transport something 120 meters. If you wanted,
I was like, it's not worth it, really.
It feels like it's already worth all the effort.
That feels like overkill, doesn't it? You could just walk it, really, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah, walk, guys.
It'll take, if I run quickly, it'll take 20 seconds max,
Or
if you wanted
sorry, what was the exact numbers you said?
If you wanted to transport something 100 meters long faster than the speed of light.
Oh, the thing is 100 meters long. Got it.
Yeah, because you're effectively you're creating an island of space-time that you're then moving. So the analogy I like is it's like peristalsis. It's like how you swallow, in that you create an area of high pressure behind your whatever it is you swallow, like a ball of food, high pressure behind it and low pressure in front of it, which pushes the thing forward. So there's a distinction to be made from a physics perspective here, that it is not the object that is traveling faster than the speed of light, because that is something that is just inviolable, cannot happen. But there is nothing that says that an area of space-time, the fabric of the universe itself, that can't move superluminally.
Okay, but then is that not an object?
It's basically the difference between a field and an object that inhabits that field. They're mathematically,
like a bed sheet and a football on the bed sheet.
I get that.
Cool.
I do get that, but the bed sheet is still moving.
But the bed sheet is just a representation of. Basically, it's geometry.
I love that analogy, but
the bedsheet is not bound by the laws of space and time. Only the football is.
So
because the bedsheet is the laws of space and time.
Because it is the laws of space and time. It can be different to the laws of space and time, and therefore move things faster than the speed of light within the bedsheet.
It's more like it's basically like saying that there is a speed limit on the bedsheet, and things roll around based on
speed limit on my. Sorry.
Sorry. I believe it's single occupancy only.
Okay, what, Simon?
There's a speed limit.
Very good.
There is a speed limit. That's going to get clipped. Of how fast something can move on the bedsheet. There is no limit to how quickly the bed, how as in how rapidly the bedsheet can change height. So you can make it so that there's a really big shift in the height of the bedsheet, and then something will plummet through it. But because it's just following the contours, it's not violating that speed limit. Very bad example of it, but
makes perfect. No, I do get it. I'm just giggling.
The other thing to mention is that when we say that mass interacts with space-time, and the classic analogy is that it like you have a rubber sheet or a bed sheet and it bends it downwards. That's because if you have positive energy density, it curves space-time in that direction. The key thing about the Alcubierre drive, based on our current understanding, is that in order to make it work, you have to have negative energy density, which is to say having something that has a negative amount of mass to bend the space-time in the other direction. So there's like various sort of proposals for exotic forms of matter, and there's a connection to dark matter, I believe. Like this is a lot of the things where like you'll find
negative mass.
Yeah, which is obviously why people say, well, it's impossible. But
is antimatter negative mass?
Good question.
Anti.
If there was a particle for mass, right?
So this was something I did a video about a little while ago. I went to CERN, and they have an antimatter factory where they just produce tiny quantities of antimatter regularly.
That's
and
very cool.
One of the pieces of research they were doing was, does antimatter fall down or up? Because we don't really know.
Oh wait, so it doesn't necessarily obey gravity because it's antimatter, so there's no mass to it, so it wouldn't.
Well, no, there is mass, but everything else is the opposite sign. Like the electric charge is the opposite sign, like the color is all that kind of stuff. So like there is the possibility, we don't have the data on it, there is the possibility that it could just actually fall in the other direction.
Because am I right that there is now, they found like a quantum particle that's like gravity? Like a gravitron.
So the graviton is a hypothetical messenger particle. So in the same way that the photon is the messenger particle of the electromagnetic force, the graviton is the messenger particle of the gravitational force.
And they haven't found. I thought they'd found it.
Not as far as I understand it, no, because that would be if you found a graviton.
That's a massive deal.
It would be like quantum gravity confirmed. Everything is
it was
good.
Probably some
does a photon
ridiculous
literally exist because of like quantum and split?
Yeah, photon. It's a messenger particle of the electromagnetic field, which is to say it's an amount of energy transferred in that manner, right?
But it's not an actual particle; it's a wave, right?
Does it exist? Yeah, like I don't want to say is light a wave or a particle, but like.
But that's why. That's why.
It's something that can be observed because it can interact with something in the same way that like a graviton. But
is it a metaphor?
No, it's a thing.
Good question.
It is a thing.
It's like
okay, so I could hold a photon.
No, because it has to move at the speed of light.
If I could move at the speed of light, I could hold a photon.
Well, this is like getting dangerously close to an Einstein thought experiment of if you were to travel at the speed of light and turn on a torch and then turn it on, would you see the light go out?
Great line in Matilda the musical. Yeah.
Been singing that today. So good.
Everyone be quiet a second. So basically, it is a thing.
See it soon.
It's the best thing I've ever seen on the West End. It's so good.
It's so good. I've seen it many times.
But
you used to get £5 tickets when you were a student. There you go.
Moving on.
There's an interesting. I've got to try and get this right now. Basically, like the electromagnetic force and gravity are both inverse square laws. So if you get 2 times further away from an electric charge, the amount of force that you experience drops by a factor of 4, 2 squared.
Okay.
Equally, if you're twice as far away from a planet, the amount of gravitational force you experience drops by a factor of 4. And they're also both, well, gravity we think is only in one direction, whereas obviously electromagnetic force could be a push or a pull, depending on the charges involved.
But then is there anti-gravity?
Well, so that's the thing. If you flipped the sign of the gravitational mass of something, then potentially you could make it like an electromagnetic force. But there is an interesting thing that you get from quantum field theory, which explains why they're both inverse square laws. Because there's nothing to say like a priori that they should both be, and it's basically due to the it's due to how many pieces of information you need to describe a photon and number of pieces of information you need to describe a graviton. Because a photon is what's the word? It's basically a vector, whereas another force that like the weak electromagnetic force is a matrix, so it's like rank 2, and then the graviton would be a rank 3 tensor, and basically because they're both.
Where have these ranks come from?
What's happening?
It's trying to oh god, this is not appropriate for something where I don't have a whiteboard.
This is so interesting.
What I'm trying to get at here is there's a very cool reason for why they are both inverse square laws, and it's to do with how you mathematically describe their messenger particle and the number of dimensions that you need to describe them. And if it's an odd number of dimensions, it turns out it's a inverse square law.
That was incredible. I do not understand, but like amazing to listen to you talk about
it. Felt good though.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
If you can have negative anti-gravity, then you can bend space-time in the other direction, which is what you need to build an Alcubierre drive, because you need to. Why did it have to be bent in that direction?
The whole peristalsis thing. Both. It's got to be plus
one
in one direction.
It has to be both, right? Yes.
And the key thing is, by doing that, you're not creating an object that is traveling faster than the speed of light.
So we can travel faster than the speed of light, Ali. That's what you said. Great, we've solved everyone's end of D&D.
Not in my universe, you can't.
I want to be able to do tree stride, Ali.
Yeah, teleportation spells. Because our thing if anyone is new, is we have to be able to explain all of our spells using science, and teleportation just breaks the rules.
I've got something for you.
I'm not there yet. I haven't got it yet. But, yeah.
I've got stuff.
The thing you suggested to me was just very interesting and awful and gross
and really horrible. I got more of this.
Come on.
But look, okay, right. So, let's say, okay, fine. So, can we travel faster than light? Yes. Bum. Right. But in this universe,
no. Ali says no.
It's a big bum.
Although it's theoretically possible, it's yet to be done. Maybe it is being done somewhere, but not that you know of.
Alliance scientists are working on it as we speak.
So I can do teleportation spells.
So here's the question: how else would you travel those colossal distances if you couldn't travel faster than light? Right.
Frozen in carbonite.
Because we are doing, we do have all these planetary systems that we are saying descended from Earth, basically. So we are saying that the human race has done interstellar travel at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
we've spoken about Earth before. Yeah.
What is carbonite, and can I be frozen in it?
You definitely said Infinity had something to do with Earth in her databanks. I thought.
I think carbonite's fictional, I want to say, just to answer that question, Charlie.
It doesn't have to be. Not anymore. It doesn't have to be. Yeah. I mean, Earth is. It's sort of legendary, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of. Yeah. It is known about as everybody came from a single.
Either way, they've travelled great distances. Yeah, over
stars. Is the Alliance based in our star system? No.
It's in our galaxy.
Star system?
It's not the solar system.
It's in our galaxy. No, no. So the Alliance is spread across multiple different star systems.
Yeah. So interstellar travel.
Solar systems. Yeah. So interstellar travel has to have existed.
Yeah. Okay.
How would you travel those distances?
Really slowly.
Carbonite.
Very, very slowly. And if you think about it, this is hundreds of trillions of miles. If that, I mean,
how many years?
Just mind-blowing distances. That's so. If 1 light year is 6 trillion miles or 9 trillion kilometers. For our EU listeners. And
can you give me that in hogsheads? Can we just do it in all, how many fathoms
all of
is
our
that,
conservative listeners?
Furlongs is that?
Yeah. Proxima Centauri is 4.2 light years away, I think. So that is the closest star to our star. So we're talking tens of trillions of miles at minimum, if you could, if there was even anywhere habitable in Proxima Centauri, which there isn't. So, how do you travel this distance? The thing is, you can't do it conventionally as we would by just bunging a load of fossil fuels in a rocket, because the amount of, or you could, but it would be incredibly slow, because there's no way that you could reach the speeds required with that much fuel, because the faster you go, the heavier you get, and the amount of fuel you need is more, and then it just keeps going on like that. So what do you do? And
I don't know.
You do know.
No, I don't know.
Is that a hand up at the back?
No, I just went, I don't know, and now you're telling me to say, and I just don't know.
Emily, come up with a solution.
I think you just have to make a really big spacecraft, and you have to have loads of people on it that are all going to have babies, and just have generations, and it just becomes a world that is slowly traveling. Yeah.
Jim Davidson's generation ship.
Yeah.
Oh God! No one get on that.
Why? No. What? A cuddly toy.
Just Google Jim Davidson right.
The Generation game was great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
It was great.
I was getting him confused with Jim
cuddly toy. What were the other ones? A cuddly toy. The other famous ones that were always on the conveyor belt.
Washer and dryer, was that one?
Washer dryer.
Sorry, we're getting off topic.
A cuddly toy.
This is a British TV show.
I want to go fast. You go back. Can I use lasers to propel me somehow?
Solar sails.
Yes.
I feel like you've made a video on this, maybe, or something similar.
I hope I haven't, because I have no memory of this.
Okay, that's good, because I've only got a few facts.
Okay.
Right. So one of the ways that you can do it is a light sail, and a light sail is basically just a massive mirror. So you shoot your spaceship up into orbit, you unfurl this huge mirror, and basically when a photon hits the mirror, they are particles of light, to get back to our previous conversation. They have momentum. So if you put out a massive reflective surface, they hit it, they bounce off, they transfer momentum, and that pushes the sail forward.
Interesting side point. They have momentum,
Question.
but they have no mass, because this is when we need to think about relativistic momentum.
Question.
Hi.
If you're doing interstellar travel, you are leaving like solar wind territory where there's like lots of light.
no.
So like when you're in
How
between
cute.
stars, that's going to be like virtually impossible, right?
You're so clever, Emily Bates!
So smart.
You're so smart. You're absolutely right. The sun doesn't provide enough energy to shoot you out of the solar system to your wherever you're headed.
Lazy.
Right? So, yes.
Lazy sun.
Can I just confirm that the problem that we have is getting up to speed? Because once you're at speed, there's not going to be much slowing you down. So all you have to do is get up to speed initially, and then you just sail, you just float without, any friction or wind resistance to your destination.
That's correct. But the further you get from the sun, because of the inverse square law, you're massively dropping off in the amount of energy. So even as you're accelerating away from it, you're losing drive. So that's where
you can't do any like whip round like they do the whip round of Jupiter to like slingshot and stuff like that.
Well, I suppose you could like tack your way around the solar system if you like angled it. You could go into like
what you mean, just sort of
the opposite of a decaying orbit, and you just like gradually spiral further and further out. Like you could accumulate more energy
building
that way.
up.
Because that's what they do with the Hohmann transfer. To get to Mars, Hohmann transfer?
Yeah, I think that's right.
But that's a gravitational thing rather than...
Yeah, they do like a loop of Earth and then they go... Wee. Yeah, that's true.
But, so let's say you don't want to spend, I don't know, like 200 years just circling the sun, trying to get
something. Things to do.
Instead, you build a massive laser on Earth and then you aim it at the sail and you just...
cool.
It's dope, isn't it?
Wait.
And you hope no space whales just happen to like cross across the path of the laser.
Space whales.
So you're just hoping. So it's just one mass. Like you just do it for like an hour, or just every time it goes past that bit of Earth in its rotation, you fire off the laser again.
That is a top question, and not one that I know the answer.
Because if the Earth's rotating and the
you put it in
things
orbit.
off,
you probably have to move it. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you put it in orbit, then it's not going to go anywhere, is it?
The space laser.
No, the ship. Because if it goes into orbit and that's fine for a bit, right? But then at some point you have to let it go, because otherwise it's going to just get into a big orbit and eventually it'll hit the sun and then go into the sun.
Firing it,
or the moon.
You're not firing it into orbit. You're just firing it directly at wherever it needs to go.
But the Earth's spinning.
Sure, but then the Earth turns, so your laser doesn't point at it anymore. So then the laser's over there.
Move the laser. You aim the laser.
Yeah, to a limited amount. And then
but at some point it's there, and then the Earth.
Like, oh, it's gone.
But you're not going to be able to do it constantly, right?
That's my question. So you just wait to every time it aligns with the laser and you fire it again. Got it.
Unless you put it in some sort of geosynchronous. Maybe you stick it on the pole. You stick it on the pole, and you only go to places that are in line with the pole.
No, but if you put it in a polar orbit, you're blocked more frequently because you're going around the Earth. Like, I suppose...
What? No. You put the laser on the pole and you fire it directly upwards, and then you only
you can only go in that direction.
So it just has to keep going up.
Okay, yeah, but then you're leaving this... But then you're going to leave the solar system in the wrong angle.
That's the only angle.
Leave it
that's the angle.
You don't get your
that way.
So what? You've got a galaxy that is basically flat, and instead of going along the galaxy, you're going, see ya, and just going straight up.
Yes. Correct.
Basically, yeah.
Cool.
But don't remember
a slight angle.
Does our solar system... Does our solar system go in line with the galaxy?
I believe we're fairly flat in the galaxy. I believe
there's an angle, but it's not much.
Yeah.
All right, I like those odds. So, but actually, people are trying to do this now. So, people are trying to build a 100-gigawatt laser on Earth to shoot a probe to Proxima Centauri.
Actually,
how are they going to do that though? Are they doing it on the pole? Have they answered our question, which I think is very valid?
That would be a good question to ask. I don't know. It's a great question. I'll tell you what is another great question.
Or do they just fire it
I
once?
assume you'd actually put it at a Lagrange point. You put it in some stable part of like the orbital configuration. Probably like is it L1 that's between Earth and the moon?
L1's got... That's where James Webb is now, right?
Or that must be on the other side. L2 is the other side, I think.
Smash.
Sorry. Yeah, James Webb. Get fucked. Wait, for people who maybe don't know, Simon, do you want to explain what a Lagrange point is?
The Lagrange point is where the gravitational force of one body is perfectly cancelled by the gravitational force of another body. So between the Earth and the Moon, there is a point where the strength of the gravity is equivalent from the Earth and the Moon. So obviously, because the Earth's much bigger, it's closer to the Moon than it is to the Earth. And that's a stable orbital configuration, which is why we put things like satellites. And James Webb is at one of these points.
I'm just looking which one.
I think it might
But
be
as soon
L2.
as you hit it with the laser, it's going to leave that Lagrange point. So
no, but that's where you put the laser.
Is there, yeah.
You put that in like a big solar array to capture energy and then redirect that in the form of a laser.
So the question is whether you would, yes. I guess it depends whether the laser itself moves backwards when it fires. I don't know. And whether you could power the laser there.
Because
you can probably counteract the radiation pressure with just like an ion drive or something.
Also, just to be clear, I think you said in between Earth and the Moon.
Yeah.
James Webb is further away from the Moon.
So
like
L1,
it's far out. Yeah.
L1 is between Earth and the Moon.
That's
and L2 is the other
Hubble.
side. Yes.
I think.
No, Hubble's in Earth.
Hubble's orbit, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, so
what's
L2 is
L2
actually
between then?
further away.
And the reason for that is because James Webb
it's-
uses thermal wavelengths, so they wanted to block out the fact that the Earth is kicking out tons of thermal energy. Basically.
No, that's a good point. So what is it?
What's balancing?
What's the balance? Is it the
It's
sun
centrifugal force,
for L2
I believe.
for James Webb?
Around what?
I think it's
the addition of the sun, the addition of the Earth and the Moon.
I think it's the Moon's centrifugal force that then is the additional factor. But I'll double check that.
I see. Okay.
While you're doing that, let me just, for those of us who haven't got a clear idea of what 100 gigawatts means, because I didn't.
What does 100 gigawatts mean?
I'm
boil a kettle.
I'm gonna just. Yeah, it would boil a kettle.
Okay.
So
good.
these are some
How many
useful
kettles?
things I've. Well, it's the
Ali's
same
big.
amount of kettles that 1.3 billion horses would be able to boil.
How many horses does it take to boil a kettle?
How are they? But they've got hooves, not
Another
fingers.
great question.
And is that them running on a treadmill, on a bike? How are these horses generating energy?
They can, with their head, they can flick the switch on the kettle. It's fine.
They are
can
good at
run
that.
two-
Okay.
They can do two bikes at the same
You
time.
know what? Also, they could definitely, or like one tandem, just all four.
Yeah.
Wait, so how many horsepower?
Yeah. So what's the horsepower? And how did we get horsepower? That's a really good question. What is horsepower?
One horse does not produce 1 horsepower.
What? Then what's the point, Simon?
I remember this. This came up a while back. Oh god, hang on.
We are tangenting, but I need to know.
I just feel like Ali had a lot of really exciting things to tell us here. I'm
Thanks.
sorry, Ali.
There's more to say, but
It's fine. It's
so
fine.
past that.
Gotten so
I've got
excited.
I've got another really cool way of traveling without fuel. It's actually
Excellent.
awesome. It's completely theoretical and
Great.
it could be bollocks, but it's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, right. So let's say you're not using a laser, right? Here's another way of doing it. You have a box full of, on your spaceship, you have a box full of bouncing atoms.
Stop this.
That just bounce backwards and forwards from front to back
Sure.
of this box. And they're actually charged atoms, so they're ions, whatever.
Okay.
Now, when the box starts moving in one direction, right? When the atoms are traveling towards the front end of the box, they're actually moving slightly faster as to when they're traveling towards the back of the box.
Sure.
Which means, according to relativity, they're ever so slightly heavier when they hit the front of the box than when they hit the back of the box.
What?
Because as things travel faster, they gain in mass.
I know, that's insane.
Right?
Yeah.
So they transfer more momentum to the front of the box than the back of the box,
So
thus
they're pushing
accelerating the box in the direction you want to go. How awesome is that?
Question. How do you make the atoms just constantly be bouncy and not slow
In
down?
the right orientation as well.
Yeah.
No. They're
I love it.
They're
No, it
going
doesn't
in
matter about
random
the orientation.
directions, but it's the consequence of the box moving.
Oh, okay.
But how
Okay,
do you
yeah, it
make
doesn't
them
matter
keep
which-
bouncing?
But ideally, you'd have them all going in the same
kettle?
direction to get the maximum amount of drive out of the
A
box.
kettle? You boil a kettle.
No, you put them on the hob or something. I don't know.
You get your horses to cycle on their tandem bicycle, boil
But
the
that also
kettle,
is-
so the
I know
atoms start
physics.
going.
It assumes that you can make a box with 0 energy loss out of it as well
Yeah.
from these ions.
Well, not if they're on the
It's
hob.
such a cool idea,
How
though,
you
right?
put
Cool
the
idea.
Energy back.
I feel like we need another physicist in the team. I'm just saying.
How rude!
Sorry.
How rude!
Oh no.
Simon doesn't think we're up to scratch.
Ali, that was a great DnDebrief. Do you have any final facts for us about faster than light travel?
I've got so many.
So many.
One
I'm
horse
sorry,
can produce
we've run- kind of run
14.9
out of
horsepower.
time.
I just needed to get that in there.
Wait, what was that? No, what was the
What if it
horsepower
was a
thing?
Shetland pony?
One horse can theoretically exert up to 14.9 horsepower.
What if it's a little
This horse is a beast.
It's because it's basically I think it was the original calculation, if I'm remembering the story correctly, was like a horse can turn a wheel this many times per hour and do this much work. But obviously that's like over a long period of time. Whereas if the horse was to really try and over short periods of time, then it can produce way more than 1 horsepower.
If the horse would put some work in, Jesus, horses, get on with it. Amazing.
So, horses are lazy. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Why Horses Are Lazy by Simon Clark.
Excellent.
Right. Okay, the last bit I had was all biology, so...
Boo!
Don't do that. No.
Yay!
Biology. Can
Biology.
you imagine?
All
Maybe,
right,
maybe
right.
one for next time? No?
I don't know.
The biology
Go
of
for it if you've got some.
Is it about like how you might die in space if you have
It's
to do
about being frozen in carbonite.
It's
Slash
about
cryogenesis.
some of those concepts, maybe. Look, I'll just hammer through it
Just
and
tell
then
us.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll
just
shut up this
try
time, it'll
it
be
and
great.
keep a lid on it. That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I think that's a good
okay,
idea.
great. So, right. Let's say you're still traveling through space, but it's going to take a while, however you get there, and so you need to be modified to travel that far because on Earth, magnetic field of Earth protects us against cosmic radiation, and if cosmic radiation hits you without that magnetic field, it's more likely to damage your DNA and give you cancer and basically just hurt you in various different ways. So, we're traveling through space, hundreds of years. How do we protect ourselves? I just want to throw some facts to you, and then now's not the time.
No.
So, there has been work done on tardigrade DNA.
Tardigrade klaxon.
Thank you, tardigrade klaxon. Tardigrades produce a protein called DSUP, which fits itself to the DNA like a coat and protects it against radiation. So you can genetically engineer human cells to produce DSUP, and it makes them 40% more resistant to radiation damage.
5%.
That's amazing. That is genuinely incredible.
Is it enough?
Yeah, is that enough?
I don't know. I mean, maybe we just put 2 tardigrades worth. I'm not sure.
We're getting to put 2 thin
Tardigrade
coats
power.
on. Just put 2 coats on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Get Simon down there. They need a physicist.
Just tardigrades shouting, attention tardigrades, have you considered putting another coat on? It's pretty cold.
God,
But
tardigrades
this fact stacks. There's fact stacks, right? So, fact stack. Obviously, either you do the Emily version where you basically have a colony ship and everybody just lives their lives out, and then a few generations later, your great whatever's land on the planet, or you go into suspended animation. How could you do that? Medically induced coma, cool the body down, hibernation.
Is that safe?
Well,
be dangerous.
Right now,
it was
probably not.
Part of the problems with it are that you basically have to do all the kind of physical stuff which your brain would normally be telling you to do, like breathing and shit like that.
Yeah.
But you could, some of those you can get around by just giving someone an IV drip, which would basically circulate all the oxygen and stuff that they need. And then you would have to make sure that they didn't get sores, that they were sort of hanging in some sort of like suspension, which there's sort of stuff you could do. But
That's very cool.
the reason that I think it could be super cool from a sci-fi perspective is, so if you are suspending your travelers in some sort of like coffin, space coffin, and you are IV dripping them all their oxygen and nutrition and everything like that, and you need to fiddle with their DNA to make them resistant to various things, there's a kind of technique which is happening now, people are working on it now, called pharmacogenomics, where you basically alter DNA with chemicals. So you would put the chemicals required to alter people's DNA in the IV drip, and then you would go into suspension, and then your DNA would start to change. So you could imagine walking aboard this ship, right? So you bump into one of these colony ships in the void, right? Blackness, you drill through the hull, you get inside, and you walk through into the coffin room, where they're all there. You press the button, the big button, and one of them goes out, and they are completely different. They're like part tardigrade, they're a bit of bear in there for the hibernation. Like, they're totally changed because of the genetic shift that's required to hibernate this whole time. I just think that'd be so awesome.
This is just like, but is that not just like prime pickings for like a supervillain to like get into one of these ships as it's going and like change what's being put into the DNA? Like,
I didn't say it was without risk.
Yeah.
I just had a thought for a sci-fi concept of, I imagine if you got a machine to design a system to do this, they would put everybody into like a medically induced coma, and then this is obviously the sci-fi part of it. What if they decided that the most sensible thing for everyone's sanity and for the harmony of the colony when the generation ship eventually arrived was that everyone gets put into a communal simulation of, you've already arrived at the colony. Like, you think that you are the generation that has woken up on the world and you have to make a society. And then that goes on for generation. And then eventually there is a generation that gets unplugged, thinking they've lived on this world for 300 years. And they realize, ding, you're here. Off you go. You've learned how to do it. There's a sci-fi concept. If anyone wants to write a short story about that.
You do it.
I haven't got time, Emily Bates. I could just dictate it in my sleep. I'll put a microphone next to me.
To be fair, you are doing a lot of sleeping, Simon. I just really think, it's a waste.
It's dead time.
You could be working.
I could be traveling to other worlds.
That's a good concept. I could write you into a traveling to other worlds. Anyway, that's it. That was good. Thank you.
That was great.
That was amazing. I loved that.
Good job.
Brilliant. Well, let's take a beat. Let's all go away and think about what we've learned. Maybe write some notes.
Make some notes, Tate.
Bullet points. No, help you remember.
Did you actually make notes, Sharmini?
You did.
Sharmini, we don't have to do anything with the team.
I'm noting down time codes in case I want to make TikToks of them.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
You could also learn from them while you're making TikToks on them.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so should we come back in 5 minutes? And then we'll get in.
Yeah, so we have done our preamble ramble. Okay. We've done the D&Debrief. Now it is time for a quick break and then the actual campaign. Stop it! Stop that! Right. We'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. I'm not a cop. Bye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are now ready for
Dungeons and
Dragons. We're not ready for yet more of the adventures.
You know what? I don't think we're going to see a dungeon or a dragon today. I'm just going to call it.
I know. I feel like we could see a dungeon. I think that's possible.
On the planet of Braxigantu, anything is possible. We're going to do a little.
Except faster than light travel.
We've had the science.
Very nice. We do a little introduction of our characters now. So as you can see, if you're watching, I got changed in the break and I'm now dressed as my drow sorcerer, Tenebris.
With updated stats, I'd like to point out. All the stats have been updated.
Hello.
Incredibly powerful.
She was genetic modified to live on a planet far from the sun of the system. And her magical powers, as we found out last week, come from a colony of microorganisms that can manipulate brainwaves, so nothing to worry about there at all.
Nope.
Emily Bates.
Hello, I'm Emily Bates. No, we didn't do that bit. I play Infinite Sky 6000, serial number 869197226 PMGB1530ML. She is a druid wood elf, but actually, in our world, she is a terraforming robot, and she's got cool screens that display skyscapes, and sometimes when she's sad they get all cloudy, and I think it's cute. No, Simon.
Yes, hello, I'm Simon, and I'm playing Uriel. Uriel uses he/they pronouns, and in D&D terms is a dwarf monk. In our reskin, they are a cybernetically enhanced human of quite squat stature, but has been augmented in various ways, making him stronger and faster, and giving him a fantastic rope belt, which we have yet to see in this chapter, but I'm pretty confident was going to be a key cast member going forwards. Things are about to get pretty heavy, I'm pretty sure, for Uriel today. And they're also going to get very heavy for our Fate Weaver, Ali Jennings.
Fate Weaver.
The Fate Weaver. Yes, simply call me that. I have no name outside of that. but I did create this universe, which we're all going to play in. And something to bear in mind is that this universe is all based on the same mechanics as the D&D 5e rule set. So it's got gods and magic and everything like that. But it's in a sci-fi context. So everything's explained through science and the workings of human ingenuity and beyond. So without further ado, roll the intro.
Yeah.
So, where were we? On the planet of Braxigantu, in the city of Gunka, sprawling across the edge of the Mirror Lake, we found our heroes in the slums. There, we learnt a little bit about them, about their histories, where they'd come from, about what they wanted, what they were planning to do. But they were contacted by an agent of the Alliance, someone very high up in Alliance circles, Saib Vivagi, who brought them to her house and told them a number of things which were very interesting to them. So now, in their search for the cause of the various phenomena that have been happening to Gunka, they have some lines of inquiry that they could follow up, and we find them just waking up in the morning at the top of a house in the rich part of Gunka. Floating above the cityscape, we meet our heroes. Let's go to Tenebris and to Infinity and Uriel. Both of you have been kept in the same room. You've woken up next to each other. What would you like to do?
Can I just go to the window and sort of look out over the city?
Are you looking for anything in particular?
No, I just want to go look. See, can I see the crater of from where Martinsbane landed?
Yes, you can. From here, floating in the sky from the Hanging Gardens, you look out and you can see this jagged scar, which spreads out where Martinsbane, this huge floating space station, smashed into the city of Gunka and broke up. But you can still see that it's retained a lot of its original shape, even though it's shattered and twisted.
Okay. No, you go.
No, you finish yours. Oh.
There wasn't really much more. I was going to go talk to you, so if you're going to do something.
Is there a not a terminal? Is there the equivalent of an Alexa or some kind of assistant system in this? No. Is it hardwired into the house?
I'm Infinite Sky 6000.
You get the sense that roll an investigation check in this room.
Investigate this. Ooh, that's pretty good. What's my 17?
Looking around, you see that, yes, there is an intercom system with what looks like a kind of LCD panel linking you to other parts of the house, but you also get the sense that whatever there is here, a lot of effort has been made to make it subtle. And maybe the fact that you can see this is because you seem to be in the servants' quarters right now. So it's a little less kind of well done.
Can I find something that looks like it is part of this system? And I want to put my hand onto it to interface and speak with machines.
Let's go, Uriel, let's go.
Place your metal hand on the surface of this interface, and you feel wires snaking their way out from your wrist and in through the ducts. You feel the connections being made, a spark happen, and then a single line of text appears, ASCII, just at the bottom of your line of vision. It just says, hello?
Hello. Can you give me the parameters of the system in this house, specifically relating to defense of the house?
Lots.
Can you be more specific in terms of armaments, capabilities?
I'm a door system, but we got a lot of doors, and we got armor doors, we got wooden doors. How strong are you?
Pretty strong. How does it feel being a door?
Good. I like being open.
I get that. I've met quite a few doors that have been quite closed off in my time.
Uriel's met a soulmate. Oh my god. It's a door.
Do you ever meet a door called Tom?
Oh god, you're testing me now. I think if there was a Tom, after what's been happening recently, I don't think Tom's around anymore. Do you get on with the other systems? Like, what are the other systems like?
Oh, well, the cooking's a bit highly strung, but obviously the defense systems, they're pretty laid back. I like them, all the rockets and the lasers and the video cameras, and there's all those sliding panels and the trapdoors, and
Oh,
I
right.
like them. You ever meet a door called Tom?
I think I might have done, but Tom was. I don't think Tom's with us anymore. He's he didn't make it out. They're not very mobile doors. I'm sure you've noticed this, but you stick at your post. If you're doing something, you stay where you are. I like them about doors. You know where you are with a door. So, hang on, did you say sliding panels? That's a bit odd.
Well, it's just another sort of door, really, isn't it?
I suppose it's like a sideways door. Well, where's the sliding panel to then?
Oh, there's a few. There's John. He's a panel to the basement.
Right.
And there's Jackie. She's a panel for the oven. Oh, there's quite a lot, actually, now I think about it.
Right, yeah. Where would I find John if I wanted to speak to John?
Oh, John, you'd find him if you go through me and then down the stairs, and you'll find him on the ground floor, probably just underneath the staircase, or on the side of the staircase. That's where you find John.
Right,
Nice fella.
Good to know. And you mentioned, the defense systems seem pretty cool kind of people. Where would I meet them?
Oh, well, you just have to come by the house any time you aren't invited, really, and you meet them face to face.
All right, so I can't meet him from the inside, like as like a friend.
Oh, they have quite a careful. They keep their work and their personal life separate, so I don't really know how you go about that, actually.
All right. Well, look, tell you what. If I see Tom, I'll tell him you said hi. All right.
Oh, well, thank you. You couldn't give him this, could you?
Oh yeah, sure.
And you just feel a little tiny data packet in the form of a single email being passed over to you.
Oh, yep, sure. If I see Tom, I will. I'll make sure to give him that. Nice talking to you.
Oh, lovely talking to you as well.
What's his name?
Oh wait, yes. Sorry, what's your name? I'm just completely. I'm not. It's been a while since I talked to a door. What's your name?
I haven't really thought about it.
I could give you a name.
Oh, you could. What would you call me?
How about Hans? Hans the open door.
Hans the open door. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you, Hans. My name's Uriel. If I see Tom, I'll tell him you said hi.
Oh, thank you very much. You could give him this, could you?
And there's another email packet that's passed over to you.
It's like the same name, but one in brackets.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll disconnect. Can I read one of the emails?
They're gonna be the same. There's no way they're not the same.
Yeah, I mean they're exactly the same text. They just say,
Tom, it has been a long time taken me to write this, but with the help of some friends, I thought I would put into words how I have felt in the time we have shared. I have felt open to new experiences.
That seems private. I'm going to stop reading.
I'm going to die for this
You
door.
are at the end.
I forgot how hilarious the speak with plants / now machines spell is. Like, oh, so good.
I was sort of, yeah. Somehow I thought that a door may be a little bit more of a better conversation partner.
Oh, no. Notoriously hilarious.
No, this is like a middle class civil servant house. It's probably got smart doors. So I was
that was smarter than your average.
I was going to
door,
say that was a pretty smart door.
Okay.
Uriel, I've got these, and can we say the night before I cast Good Breeze before we went to sleep, so I could get the spell slot back. And I'll give Uriel take 3 if you know what to do.
Right, thank you.
Don't eat them yet.
Well,
you need to give the rest to Tenebris.
Sure. Pop them away.
Uriel, are we going to go to Martinsbane today?
We've left it for a really long time as it is. We've got to get there as soon as possible.
Okay. Are you going to be all right?
Doesn't matter if I'm all right or not.
Yes.
I will be all right because I have to be all right. That's all I can be.
We're going to save whoever we can. I promise.
We'll try.
And with that, we shift over to Tenebris. Tenebris, we find you in a small attic room, actually one level higher than Uriel and Infinity. And this room is familiar to you. What do you see as you sit up in bed? Have you slept?
Not very well. I think Tenebris is still a headache. Still kind of flickering some dancing lights with her fingers. And I wanna. Is this room how I left it? Like
it is how you
I would have left
There's
things here because I couldn't take. I didn't take anything with me.
No, it is how you'd left it. You've noticed, in fact, that it's been dusted, so people have been in.
Yeah. I feel like she's gonna have a look at like papers of scribbles and doodles. Nothing like super personal, but just like tiny little doodles. And she was always very careful, like not to like mark the walls or like chip the furniture or anything. Everything's like very carefully looked after. But like notebooks and things of scribbles. And I think having just sort of like flicked through a few things, she's just gonna stride out the door. She's lived here for years. Like it's very easy to just slot back in to doing things exactly how you used to, but just suddenly very aware of everything that she's missed.
One thing you do notice before you leave is your clothes, the ones that you left, they're all there, hung up, washed.
Oh man.
And you haven't changed yours. You've been travelling for weeks.
I haven't changed my outfit in a while. I'm gonna change. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm gonna change.
Oh, we're gonna need new character art. Okay.
And you step out into the hallway, and for a second, you catch sight of yourself in the mirror as you leave, and you feel exactly the same as you have done for the past years that you've been here. And for a second, you feel like everything that happened before was like a dream.
Like
Where are you headed?
Slight catch before she shakes herself out of it. I would like to go to I feel like the mistress's like reception room, somewhere where it is appropriate to wait for her like audience kind of thing.
You follow your feet and you let them take you that familiar route down towards the office. Not the reception room where you know that high-profile guests would wait, the front room, but rather just a side corridor near the pantry. And you sit and you wait where there's a couple of rows of chairs where servants might wait, and a side door into her office. As soon as you sit down, you hear a voice in your head. Darling, so glad you're awake. Looking lovely. Come in, come in.
Oh, going to the office.
It is...
Oh wait, just before I go in, can I try and... I'm going to stop casting dancing lights, and I'm going to just try and... I want to make it through this conversation without looking like I've got a headache or that I need to be casting.
This is going to be hard. The headache that you have had and that has been building for the last week is now getting to the point where it is intruding on your ability to think. So to hold on to this whilst you go into this conversation with this woman who has so much power, roll a performance check.
You got this.
I don't think I got it. I think that was a natural one.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay, all right, that's fine. We can wear that.
Yeah, we can work around with this. Yeah.
Starting today.
That's how we're going today. Okay.
As you go and you walk into the room, actually a spasm of pain hits you in the temple, and you can't help but wince as you walk through the door. And you see Sai looks towards you, and she's standing at the other end of the room. She's standing, and there's tall glass windows behind her, clear glass, and you can see that the books, the walls around you are covered in bookshelves, and books on Gunka, that's a choice, right? That is not something that is obviously made. These are either antiques or they've been made very, very specially. This is the room of someone with power. I'm just going to pause there for a second. Shamini, have you frozen?
I'm back. Sorry, thank you.
Okay. This is the room of someone with power, and someone who doesn't need to show that power, but needs you to remember the scope of it when you come in. In fact, as you look towards her, silhouetted against the light of the morning sun coming through the mist that shrouds the centre of Gunka, that black silhouette, tall and slender, seems to you like a shadow drawing you in, like a doorway to somewhere dark that you remember and feel. You go in with a wince, and immediately she turns towards you. Sit, Tenebris, sit down. Clearly you're in pain. Is it your head again? Come on now. And she rings a little bell and calls, Jeffrey, tea for Tenebris. She sits down next to you. Come on, we don't need to sit with the desks, of course. We're old friends.
I'm going to start casting dancing lights again. I can't stop. I just need to be casting. So I am fine, actually.
She watches you cast it, and it's an appraising eye, almost. It's a strange expression. Almost like you're being studied. And then she lightly rests a hand on your shoulder. Tell me, Tenebris, how can I help you?
You've already helped. I just wanted to come before we have to go today and, say thank you again for everything that you're giving and you're doing. I just wanted to know that I don't take it for granted. And I'm really grateful. But I wanted to just make sure you know that this is a visit and I'm not staying.
My darling, let's not think about what's going to happen. Let's get through what's happening now. You have always been free, and I always want you to be free to make your own decisions. I want you to do what's right for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Okay, I don't want to let you down, because I don't want you to be disappointed or upset if I have, I've been making my way and getting different jobs and looking after myself. So, I felt like I needed to do that, and then just so that you're not, expecting anything from me.
Calm now. The most important thing now is that you're safe. So just promise me one thing. When you go out there, you're going into a dangerous place, into a dangerous world. Gunka is fractious, it's feverish right now. I need to be able to help you. Don't hide anything from me. Will you promise me that? Will you promise me that?
I will. I promise. Already.
Good. Go into the kitchen, my sweet. There'll be tea.
We are. I said I was all right, and I'm not all right, and I know you know, but just because I'm being honest, I just want to tell you that we have a lot of power, but if we don't use it, it's gonna be bad, and then my head hurts, and sorry, I didn't tell you that straight away.
How bad have the headaches become?
Just like all the time, like it used to be. Just like if I didn't like do anything for like maybe a day, and now it's like I have to, and this isn't enough, and I just feel like I need to do things, but it's really like, what can I do? Like I can't get into people's heads and hurt people, and if I don't, then it's so I'm not worried about not being able to protect ourselves in the dangerous place. I'm worried about not being able to protect other people from us.
Don't worry about other people, Tenebris. You are the most important thing. If these urges become too strong, you must remember that some people matter less than you. You are the most important thing.
I don't hurt people anymore.
You don't have to hurt people, Tenebris. But if you need to, just remember that I can help you. I have always wanted to help you. And with me, whatever you do, whatever happens, I can make you safe. Together, we have always been stronger.
I have to go to Martinsbane. I will speak to you. We can speak to you. I can from there, and you can obviously can. So I will let you know what is happening. I won't hide anything from you. I'm sorry.
No. I know you won't. And just for a second, she puts her hand on your hand and gives it a little squeeze, just a little bit harder than is friendly. And then she rises, and you know that that's the sign for you to leave.
I will head to the kitchen. Yes, I'll head to the kitchen.
So Infinity and Uriel, you will have been met and greeted, and the serving staff will have led you down to the kitchen where you're now eating and preparing yourself for the day.
Good morning, Tenebris.
Hi. How are we? Are we all feeling calm? Would anyone like to be calmer right now?
Oh,
I'm
just
always very
fine.
calm.
just keen to get going. That's all.
I've got these for you, Tenebris, and I'll give you 3 good berries as well.
Do I eat them now?
No, not now. No, don't.
okay.
No, that's for if someone's hurt, that they should give you a boost.
Okay, I'll put it in my pocket. Will they get squished?
They might get a little bit squished. Maybe just try not to sit on them.
I think of good berries as like, you know, those
like
the ketchup and mustard dispensers you get in certain like restaurants that are like round with a thing on top. That, but really small and painted gold.
No, they're not that small. They're like dice sized basically, but they're like big purple. We had to do DnDebrief on them.
I think they're purple. Yeah.
I think of them as being gold.
Well, they're purple.
They're definitely purple.
Yeah.
Probably can't see purple. Just see metallic colours.
Jeffrey, please may I have a small jar for my good berries?
Yeah, absolutely, milady. It's Jeremy actually on. The madam also gets me confused, but of course.
I was confused by that. I thought maybe Jeremy was on shift last night and Jeffrey this morning.
Jeffrey is a great idea for a butler, name for a butler, really.
Jeremy, I thought that. Okay,
it's a story all about how someone's life got switched.
Yeah, tell me about
it. Can't tell the difference between us, I'm afraid.
Okay. Sorry, Jeremy. I was just trying to go with the flow, you know. Can I have a little jar for my good berries, and also can we have some breakfast?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And Jeremy goes to the kitchen, and it kind of comes down to his level, and he starts preparing things. Takes a jar from up in the rack, up at his above his head, which is at your shoulder height. Hands it to you, and you guys have eaten, and you're fulfilled, and you're ready. Do you have anything you want to discuss before the day begins?
So, Tenebris, me and Uriel were talking, and we think we should go to Martinsbane.
Yeah, I guess, because we should check it out.
Right, because there might be people there, and
who Uriel
we could help them.
Knows,
right?
I have reason to believe that there are people left alive. They're probably right in the centre of Martinsbane. That's the area that would survive the crash.
And it would be good to sort of find out more about maybe why Martinsbane was what fell. Uriel, you wouldn't have any knowledge.
There's nothing that I know as to why it should be anything other than a star in the sky.
Do I believe what he's saying?
Roll an insight check, and Uriel roll either persuasion or deception.
Getting into
synthetic 20.
What am I doing? Persuasion or
deception?
Yeah. Don't tell us what the answer is, but if you can WhatsApp Bates, depending on what you've rolled.
Right, hang on.
Whispers.
Okay.
Intra-party checking.
I like it so
Always insight check your friends. While this is going on, obviously your meals are cleared away, just so tactfully and gracefully. A little tiny bit of banter, obviously, between you and Jeremy, just to keep you all at ease. You see some of the other serving staff coming and going. This lush oak lined kitchen, and as you are clearing away and getting your stuff and preparing for the day, the butler comes out. Hello, Simon. I do remember you, Mr. Tenebris. If you'd like to come this way.
Who's Simon?
Oh god, this isn't going to get confusing at all.
Oh, hello.
This is Simon.
Who's Simon? Sorry?
The butler.
This is Uriel.
No,
wait, you've got
Uriel.
a butler called Simon?
No, this
I thought the butler was saying hello to Uriel and got his name wrong.
They're introducing
I'm
themselves.
Simon.
You're Simon. I understand. I'm so sorry. There's something about Uriel that makes me think people might confuse him with that name. But anyway.
Hello, John.
Hello,
John.
If you'd all like to follow me, the lady has prepared you a car that will take you, I believe, to Martinsbane. Is that correct?
Oh yes, thank you. That would be most excellent. Thank you very much.
How close?
Maybe we could just be taken to sort of near, and we could sort of. I worry that didn't she say there might be people there, in the wreckage, and maybe we don't want them to. Right? But maybe we don't want to sort of just arrive at the outside.
Okay.
Yes, I have heard that it's quite dangerous around there, but ours not to reason why, if you know what I mean. So, you can. The car will take you wherever you wish to go, and please send it back.
Okay.
I'm sure we can manage that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is everyone okay?
We are good to go.
This is very exciting. It's like the time we went into those mines.
Let's hope it ends a bit better than the time we went into them.
Maybe better.
Yes, that would be good. No, less walls of light exploding over everyone. That would be good. Okay, good.
Tall like that.
Great.
As you talk, you walk through the garden. The flowers that before followed you to Nebris again.
Infinity.
What is it?
It was me. I cast the spell. Yeah.
Yes, the flowers that follow you, Infinity, just sort of sniff in your direction, but don't do anything. And now in the daytime, whereas before the mist of central Gunka was crisscrossed with lights of all different kinds, some lasers, some much more sort of broader in scope, and gave it a very kind of like an uplit feel, like there was all sorts of energy and things going on, and but also patches of darkness everywhere. Now in the daytime, the mist is suffused with this sort of white fill light, and gives it a kind of ghostly presence, like there's almost no shadow. Everything is flat, almost monotone as you walk through. And in front of you is the same car, the robotic car that brought you to this place. Unless anybody has anything else they want to do?
No.
How close do we want to get to Martinsbane before we...
Round the corner.
Round the corner.
I feel like we kind of need to see what's left of Martinsbane, and then assess where is a good place to put down.
So, okay. Yeah.
You enter the car, it closes around you, and sets off. Obviously, that's the noise inside the car. Outside, because it's a rotor-driven car. Away through the mist. You can now see further because of the sun. You see some of the rest of Gunka, very tall, like swooping skyscrapers. As you look towards the centre, you see that everything piles up in a sort of mound as the buildings get higher and higher and higher towards the very centre. And just in the mist, you see the tensor cables of the space elevator that sits in the centre of Gunka. And you can even see now that the space elevator is halfway through one of its cycles, this vast plug of earth lifted out of central Gunka, pulling, and you can hear, as you can hear everywhere in central Gunka, the echoing of the rattling of those chains and the sound of the engines as this plug is pulled further and further up.
Is that how you got here, Uriel? Because I came down in that. Did you come down in that? The space elevator?
No, I didn't take the elevator.
It's super cool. It's like there's like cables that go all the way up to space. It's super cool.
No, it's an engineering marvel. It's something that maybe it would be interesting to inspect in the future.
You talk, the car swoops through the other cables hanging, the lesser cables of the different sort of micro lifts that have mushroomed out from around the space elevator. You see other hanging platforms, sometimes the massive outer shape of one of the vast zeppelins that holds up the floating parts of the city. And occasionally just a wing appears out of the mist, maybe underneath you, maybe to the side of these huge flying beasts. And then in front of you, you see massive shadows blocking out parts of the sun, the butterflies. Massive machines used to control the weather inside the Gunka pillar in central Gunka. The car past them, out of the mist, and you see in front of you, it's a bright sunlit day, and the sprawl of Gunka is beneath you. The car over the surface of the sprawl, and then you see, as it starts to turn towards the west, you see a massive, it's like a plume of destruction, where something has hit the city, smashed its way through, cutting off the tops of skyscrapers and building, and then just tunneled into the ground, throwing up earth and dirt and debris everywhere, crushing everything beneath it, and then spitting out other parts of broken masonry and spaceship, and there, lying along its axis, like some sort of huge broken worm, is Martinsbane, shattered in many places. But you can see, and Uriel, you would know, that the central core of Martinsbane is largely intact. However, one end has actually tunneled into the earth, so has smashed off in lots of different places and has completely wedged in there, so impossible to access. The other end is still sticking out of the ground, so now it's almost like a sewer pipe at an angle, one end open, the other blocked off by the earth, and all around it the debris and wreckage of the rest of the station.
Are there any spokes still attached?
You can see so for Tenebris and Infinity, looking at this ship, looking at this wreckage of this space station, what you can see is that there is one central core, and around it seems to have been wheels, like bicycle wheels. Mm-hmm. Almost like a set of bicycle wheels attached to each other. And when it hit the Earth, those wheels shattered and splintered and fractured everywhere, but the central axle still remains in shape. And the spokes that come out of the axle, attaching it to the wheels, as it were, many of those spokes are still intact. Some of them are bent and broken off, but they do, lots of them are intact, especially closer to the central axle.
You were right, Uriel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to identify a place for us to put down. If we...
I'll put my hand on your shoulder and cast guidance.
We've got to get into the central part of the spoke. If people are alive, that's where they're going to be. There weren't any axles that would have gone directly into there, but we can get as close as possible. Is there an axle?
I'm just gonna. So the axle is the central bit.
Yeah.
And the spokes are the bits coming off it.
Yeah. But as in, we're looking for the center of, as in the middle section of the axle. Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. Yes, pretty much.
So, is there a spoke that looks like we could gain access that is towards the center?
Okay, roll me a perception check.
You've got guidance, so you can add a d4.
Well, my d4 is rolling hot today. I did a test roll. So, I'm gonna perceive with my over my board. That's a good sign for my perception of my desk. Right, I perceive with mine peepers. Well, the D4 is doing very well. I got a 14.
With a 14, you can see that the end, the open end of the axle sticking out of the Earth, that appears to be the main, like the lateral most axle, so the main entrance to Martinsbane. So basically what that tells you is that the axle itself has largely remained intact, and that the bit which is shoved into the Earth, judging by the length of it, you would imagine that the central core is submerged. It's subterranean now.
Okay. Right. I think we're going to have to go in through the main entrance.
Okay. I can help keep us hidden if we want.
Or like in case there's other people who are going in there and trying to like steal all the things, then we'll just like
yes, I can't imagine they'll just let us walk in. So
no, they'll think we are going to steal things, and like we try and be like, no, we're not terrible thieves. We're archaeologists. But
so maybe we set down sort of round the corner somewhere.
Does it look like there's like an official? Are the authorities like swarming all over this? Like,
yeah, can I look for other people like going in and out?
Sure. Roll a perception check, Infinity, and your perception check still stands, Uriel.
It was trying so hard to not be a natural one, but it was.
Uriel, Infinity.
It's 9 total. If that just still plus 8.
It doesn't not help.
Mm-hmm.
Infinity, you don't exactly know what you're looking for.
No.
you don't really know what that kind of security might look like. So, you can see that there is activity there, certainly. Uriel, you can see that there are some what look to be clusters of official. You would know that the police force of Gunka is called the Brothers in Arms, and you can see that there are clusters of what look like that, both stationed aerially around the crash site and what looks like on the streets themselves. But what you can also tell is that they're very thinly spread. This is a vast crash site.
Right. If we go in and try and land directly by the front door, we're going to get spotted by the aerial units. So I think we're going to have to set down and then walk.
That's fine. I can help keep us hidden.
Let's do that. Can we set down like a kilometre away?
Yeah, absolutely. The car.
Maybe. Oh no, I've got an hour on it. That's fine. Yeah. Okay.
And here you are. You step out into the slums of Gunka. Around you, you can hear the hustle and bustle of activity. It is lessened a little bit this close to the crash site, but still there are children playing around you in the rubble. You can see that there's scavengers looking for things. It's just the dregs now, this far from the crash site. But you can see down a crooked road, as far as you can see, the wreck is looming up, and that will be the direction you go.
Sure.
Right.
I was going to send the car back to Mr. house.
Oh, thank you very much.
Bye.
Should have spoken to the car. Anyway. Right. When we get close, if we can tuck into an alley or behind a tree or something. And
what do you want to do?
I just I have this bit of programming that can help keep us hidden. It will be a bit weird for you, but it should work. I'm just going to project my screens out over the top of you, so you'll sort of blend in with everything, and it's sort of a certain setting I go into.
So we just stay near you, and then
yes, 30 feet within 30 feet of me.
And then they'll just see like the sky.
Well, it won't be the sky. It will be the area around. I'll scan the ground and then make you look like that. Yes.
Yeah,
I will also start looking like that. I play out a bit of white noise, so you can't quite hear what we're saying and things as well. It's very. Yes, I haven't had an opportunity to use it yet. But
okay, let's try it. I love this.
I will cast Pass Without Trace, and I think these sort of like I've decided for some reason that in her neck there's like little like projectors kind of stick out and just start like projecting over Uriel Tenebris, like so scans the ground and the surrounding area, and so like when you walk in front of like a cinema screen and you get what's on the screen like over your body, you get that all over you, and then also this kind of like comes out, because I didn't realize Pass Without Trace obscures your sort of a veil of shadows and silence radiates from you, according to the actual spell. So a veil of shadows and oh my god, we could do full-on noise cancellation, but we could do masking you and your companions from detection for the duration. Each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including yourself, has a +10 bonus to stealth checks and can't be tracked except by magical means. A creature that receives this bonus leaves behind no tracks or other traces of its passage. So, also apparently a feather duster comes out from behind and just starts sweeping our trails out. But I don't want to say that. So, like,
what's the range on it? How close do we have to be?
30 feet.
Wow, this seems strong. Okay,
it's a really good. It's a really good spell. Cool. So we've got that for an hour. It's concentration as well, Ali, just so you know.
Got it.
Okay.
So what are you guys doing?
Let's head towards stealthing. Sneaky.
Do we see any groups that we can like stay clear of? Like, can we try and track a good path?
Yeah.
Give me a group perception check.
Nat 20.
Total 21.
Is it the sun? Is there sun?
No, yes, there is sun here.
Is this
no, because it's not misty anymore because you're out of the sunlight. Sorry, you're out of the mist. You're into the sunlight.
Yeah.
Can we just take a 30-second break? By the way, I just need to check something.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Sorry, just 1 second, guys at home.
So, tell me your perception checks.
21.
Nat 20.
For a...
22, I believe.
And 10 from Tenebris.
10. I'm 10.
Tenebris.
I'm 10. It's great.
Okay, great. So, Tenebris, you're just kind of enjoying the scenery. Infinity and Uriel, you look around, you scan, and you can see there's some kids playing football against one of the walls of one of these broken down buildings that's been scythed through by this space station. You can see a couple of scavengers picking through the wreckage, but nothing much else on the road that takes you towards the crash site.
Okay.
So if you're headed towards there and you're doing it stealthily, then we'll roll me a stealth check as well.
Add 10 to whatever you get, including your modifier.
Oh shit, that's good.
Yeah.
Very good. That's,
it's very good. I get 31.
17.
Total?
4.
Yes, I rolled a 4.
So 24, 17, and 31. You all feel quite confident. Whatever Infinity's doing, it seems to be doing the business. So you move forward. I'm trying to keep in step with the rhythm of the streets, and you make your way towards the crash site. As the buildings open out in front of you, you can see that they're getting lower and lower, that there's more and more rubble in the streets. Looking around you, Uriel and Infinity, you can see that there's fewer people now. It's quite... it's not still, but it's tense. Even when you see movement, you just see flickers of movement of people moving between buildings, trying to stay out of sight. You yourselves start using the bits of broken wall, the bits of fallen rubble as cover. And on you press until you reach a sort of plain where you can see that everything has been knocked down, completely sandwiched. Around you, you see shards, massive shards of metal, huge, what look like bolted structures that have been torn off. You can see that parts of them have melted, and around you in the rubble are larger bits of metallic machinery, it looks like. Looking across this sort of plateau, you see the occasional movement of something flying, like small drones, just trying to duck in and out of these bits of fallen masonry. You don't see any groups of people. It looks empty. And the last thing to add, obviously, in front of you, now that you've come out into this space, a colossal open maw of this space station. You can almost start to see inside, and obviously it gets darker and darker and more shadowy. It seems like this tunnel goes on forever, but it's kilometers wide. It's stretching out, completely enveloping the space. And it takes up the whole one side of your field of vision.
It's going to take us ages to get around in there, right?
It's very big.
We know what we're looking for. I know where to go.
Okay.
How long will it take us to get there?
Well, if it was a straight line, we could probably manage it in a day.
Oh, I can't keep this up for a day.
Well, once we're in there, I'm sure
the
bulkheads are much closer together. There are large spaces, but obviously there's large parts of the station that are, more modular.
Okay. Right. Well, we should get going. Let's keep moving.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I heard the police.
Let's go.
You push onwards into this colossal cavern that is the crash site of Martinsbane. As you come deeper and deeper and deeper into the space, you can hear parts falling off the inside of this great metal cavern. It gets darker and darker as the sunlight penetrates less and less far in. As you walk in, you look above you. You see hanging wires and cables. You see wide tubing that's fallen and just splayed out from the ceiling. On the floor around you, the rubble of masonry from the buildings has started to disappear, and now it's plain metal, scarred with scratch marks and burn marks. You can see pieces of what looks like some sort of robotic machinery littering the ground. In front of you, it's like it's like a boulder field of these machines. And as you move through them, after the first 30 or 40 minutes, your perception and your stealth checks still counting, you're seeing no one, but you start to hear, hi, noises.
I just want to say while we're walking, I think Infinity is standing like right next to Uriel, like the whole time, like not quite like holding his hand, but trying to be like right there for him if he needs her. And
in
now
front of you, in the twilight that this has now become, you see a huge ship shaped like a dagger that has thrust its way through the whole shell. This ship is maybe 2 or 3 kilometers long and has pierced the axle at an odd angle, and the nose appears to have shattered off to one side, and it's stuck. And from where you are, it's clear that this is a spaceship of some sort. And Uriel, you recognize it as an armada ship, hung in this cavern off the ground. So you could walk underneath it. There's, a good 100, 200 meters, and it's suspended, piercing this axle.
Is it of a configuration that I knew was at Martinsbane, or is this a new ship to me?
Roll a perception check.
4!
Woo!
You can't be sure. I mean, you know that the Armada makes ships in this sort of shape, but as to the exact origin of this ship, you don't know.
Would I recognise how big is it? Would I know? Is it a battleship? Is it a corvette?
So this is a frigate. So normally a kind of accompaniment ship that you would get simply for space battle or for space accompaniment of cargo.
Okay.
Uriel, how did that ship get in this other ship? Like, with poking out of the side?
Well, there's two possibilities. It was either in the ship to begin with and the force of re-entry forced it through the wall, or it rammed into Martinsbane.
Can I look and see if it looks like it was, because if it's come through, then we can assume it rammed into Martinsbane. Whereas if it looks like it kind of went backwards and smashed.
You said it.
Or did you say the nose was shattered, didn't you? So it has come through.
Yeah, I was going to say you.
So could Infinity be quite sure that it's come in, like through the outside?
Now you guys have a choice to make. At the moment, you're moving slowly, you're hiding, you're going stealthily through this place. Mm-hmm. This battleship, this frigate is high up. If you want to get a closer look at it, you'll have to go out and have a look, which might make you more visible. But you're welcome to.
Not what we're looking for.
No.
We're not here to investigate what. We're here to try and find people. There's like a flash of motion from Uriel that's kind of then hastily covered up. We're here to try and work out who is still in the centre, so we should keep going.
Right, we keep going.
We'll keep going.
Push on. As you move underneath this massive ship, you start to hear voices. Come on, how long do you think it's going to take? We can't be here for much longer. They're going to come in, they're going to find us. If we run into those guys, ain't nothing we're going to be able to do about that. Right, I hear you, yeah, but we can't bring nothing back to the boss. That ain't going to fly. Listen, we get in, we get up there, see what, have a nosy around that ship, see what we got. After that, I'm off home. And you hear this conversation going. It's coming from in front of you. It seems to be a few people.
Do you think they're scavengers, or do you think they were sent by someone else?
They sound like scavengers.
They said the boss.
Them. Yeah, everyone has a boss, though. You've got to have a boss.
I don't think I have a boss.
Well, we are freelance archaeologists, but...
That's true. Yes.
Usually you would have like a head of department or something.
I
don't know.
see. Okay. Yes.
Got to register ourselves with HMRC, or we're going to be in so much
No.
trouble.
So much trauma. I don't want to talk about it, please.
Let's try and go around them. I'm gonna look for a route that I think would avoid the area where the voices are coming from.
Can we see what they are doing? Like, do we have any visual contact with them?
You've not seen them yet, but you could try and sneak around this sort of debris and get a closer look at them.
I think we should. Yeah.
Okay.
We have to do
Roll
that
another
find a way
stealth check.
around
So you're
anyway.
still under pass without a trace.
Not as good.
16.
It's exactly the same for me as well.
That's with pass without a trace.
That's with pass without a trace.
Oh.
I rolled bad.
19.
It's about as low as it can go for me.
You guys nose your way up to the side of one massive fallen piece of ship docking equipment, and as you're walking, some little pieces of rubble slip and slide down the metal around your feet. You slip for a moment, catch yourselves. That makes a scraping sound. You look around and the corner, and you see in front of you what looks like a separate room. So something that's fallen and has lodged itself on the ground, clearly full of bits of machinery and complicated mechanical items. And inside that room, you see shapes. From this distance, you can see there's 4 figures picking through this fallen room, and there are 2 other figures stood by the door, and one of them, as they talk to each other, it sounds like those are the 2 people that you've heard speaking.
How many people in total, sorry? 2 on the door and...
2 on the door and 4 searching the room.
Do we think we could get away? Like, do we think if we stuck to kind of the other side, furthest away from the 2 at the door, that can we try and get around without them seeing us, basically?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, with that same stealth check,
We don't know we got that stealth check though, right? Yeah.
So it looks like there's a way of doing it.
Uriel, do you want us to stop them? We can just be like, boo, and maybe they'll run away.
I shouldn't, because with what we are trying to do.
Come this way. And I'm going to try and...
Yeah, and follow.
You walk single file, hiding as best you can behind the other shattered pieces of equipment, machinery. Some sort of huge spade of a digger, it looks like. Some sort of massive drill just shucking up out of the ground. As you walk past, there's a moment where, Tenebris, you turn to look at the wall behind you, and somehow it's completely mirrored, like a perfect mirror. In a second, you look into that mirror and you see it's reflecting straight towards the 2 people standing at the door, and for one split second you look directly into the eyes of one of the guards. You freeze. There's a momentary frown, and then they go back to talking to the person next to them. You release your breath. You keep moving. You make it round the room. Now,
Are we
the
avoiding
3
plot
of you
again?
are
Hell yes.
Yes.
underneath the hull of this long dagger-like ship. You can see up into it, and you can see the broken bits. There's almost holes where you can see through the hull up into what looks like dark space underneath it. You can just about hear in the distance, bang, 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 something moving around inside there. In front of you, looming out of the twilight, you now see a sheer metal surface.
Another fucking wall.
Doors?
It completely blocks this part of the axle.
What's this, Uriel?
It's going to be one of the bulkheads of the central. It was the central bit of Martinsbane is broken down into compartments. There are obviously walls between them, but there are access points. You can get right from one end right away to the center, but there's large bits that you can't. So we're going to have to look for an access.
Right.
I said that very stealthily.
I had the voice, the cancellation going.
You were like,
Is
bing,
the
bing.
access point going to be on the edge? And do we know which edge? Because like, which way is up and like which way is down? And like,
We sort of worked well. There are two axes, right? You've got rimward and corewood, and then you've got kind of in and out. Those were your two dimensions. So,
right.
In order to go in, large craft would be able to pass through the big doors, but then people had to go in as well. So, we're probably going to be best off looking for one of those small entrances. And those going to be on the rimward side of the center.
anywhere along the rimward side, not just at the bottom where we are now.
I'll glance around and try and see if I can see any sign of a door for some humanoid shapes.
Is this something that everyone is doing?
Certainly is what Uriel would be doing.
Okay, you guys choose. Does one of you want to roll with advantage, or do you want to all roll?
Infinity is mainly rolling.
I'm doing like a scan.
I will give Infinity advantage by having just confirmed that it is on the rimward side.
Looking at the rim.
Oh, for God's sake.
That is a 24.
24. This shear surface rises up in front of you. So you start scanning the edges. This is a concave surface, the inside of a drum that you're basically looking at. Uriel and DnDebrief, you're finding this difficult because the distances involved are huge, right? But Infinity, you focus your mechanical eyes.
Oh no, I don't want her eyes to come out. That's horrible.
It's like seeing someone really fit in a cartoon. Just like, oh,
they make that noise as well.
Yeah. Let me just have a quick look over there. Can she do that for like a melee attack? If like someone's just in front of her, she can just telescope her eyes through them.
What you can see is one of these concave surfaces going up and up and up and up the side until you get to something which is vertical, basically, like a vertical side of the surface. You can see that there are 3 what looks like access tunnels near
up.
the edge. Sorry?
Quite high up then.
Halfway
Yes.
up,
So like, how high up are we talking?
90 degrees to the center.
Yeah, but
90
how
degrees to the center. And this is the diameter of this place is, let me check. I know the exact diameter.
kilometers, right?
Did you say
It is kilometers, yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
great,
Okay,
great,
cool.
great.
I don't have a way to do that.
I don't think my belt is long enough for this.
No, I don't think you've got a like kilometer long belt.
However, what you do see is that the ship is wedged right over those spaces. And with the prow, so the front end, smashed into the ground at a more manageable height.
Got it.
Look, it is a giant ramp.
Yes, well, I found the entrance. It's up there. I guess we're going ship climbing.
It's like a stairs, but made of ship.
Right.
Very little good comes from going in Armada hardware, but okay.
We could go on the outside, and then we haven't technically gone in their ship. We're just
Right.
walking around on the hull.
You make a good point, to be fair.
It looks very slippery, but still. Okay, we'll be fine. Can we make our way back from where we are now?
Oh God, we've got to go back.
You don't have to go via the same route. You can skirt round those.
Let's skirt. Yes.
We want
Marty.
to go where the ship hits the ground,
We've
basically.
got to go back to the frigate.
Back to the. That's very good.
As you skirt round, First of all, so we've come to the end of this. This will be your last pass without a trace roll, basically, and it'll probably get you past those people. But
cast it again.
Unless you cast it again, yeah.
Sure, I'm not going to. But that's fine.
So give me one last party stealth check.
Come on, roll well for once.
All right.
Bloody life.
I got a 24.
22.
15.
You feel pretty confident. You've got the layout of this place as you're walking between these kind of scraps of metal, and it's eerie, right? Because not everything is dead. This isn't a graveyard. Some things are clearly still working. They're sort of whirring away. You can see some blinking lights occasionally in the murk. But the whole sense of this thing is of a place that is just barely holding itself together. That at any point, it might start to crumble. As you pass some of these machines, sparks flying, you get the sense that you're being watched. But it can't tell you anything more than that. You move on. You reach the place where you heard, or you saw, the scavengers picking their way through this abandoned piece of building, this abandoned room. As you pass it, it's quiet. There's no noise coming from there now.
They're gone.
You move on.
I feel like I know. I don't want to.
You don't have to move on if you want.
No. We'll move on.
No, we're good.
All you see is the outside of this room, like the kind of metal surface, and you can see a couple of windows inside. There's just no one inside.
We can look
But
in.
you're looking at it from a distance. You could go closer and look in.
Would you like? Should we look in, Uriel? We could maybe see what they've taken.
It's not going to help things. Let's just keep moving.
You're sure?
You push on towards the shattered bow of this dagger-like ship. As you walk, that sensation comes to you again of being watched.
Can I look around and see if I can see anyone?
So what exactly are you looking for?
Someone watching us, hiding somewhere.
Sure, roll a perception check.
Is this an area that Uriel would...
24.
You look around and you are very sure that there is no one here.
I don't think anyone is watching us.
Is this an area that Uriel would know a defense grid?
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of surveillance?
Roll an Arcana check.
Ooh.
This isn't a place that you are
Very
familiar with,
yeah.
but you are aware of how the station operates in general.
8. D20, I mean.
You know that...
I was going to say, if you're rolling a D8.
Damn it, I can't roll higher than an 8!
You know that there's security and there's observation, but as to whether it exists or whether it's here or whether it could have survived the crash, you don't know. You push on.
I think the ship is watching us. I hope it doesn't mind if we try and climb on top of it.
I don't think it really has preferences for those sort of things. It doesn't really concern itself with, big ships like this. They don't really concern themselves with squishy, biological small things like us. They're more interested in higher problems.
It's a ship.
Yeah, but it could be like looking. I feel like it's looking at me. Okay.
I know kind of what you mean. Up we go.
Yeah.
You start to move, and the sides of Martinsbane now start to curve upwards. And the incline increases, and the metal underneath your feet, in some parts, it's slick and smooth, and in other parts, it's clearly been penetrated and it's been smashed out, and there's various kind of lacerations to the inside of the hull.
Can I, can Uriel determine if, like... No, that's a stupid question. Ignore me.
There are no stupid questions, Simon.
Just, no, only stupid people, and I fully identify as one of those.
Go ahead and ask it, or...
No, I was going to ask if Uriel could tell how the damage was inflicted. Like, was this something that was... is it unidirectional, like the score patterns, or is it sort of chaotic and random, like it was rattling around inside?
Great. Roll an investigation check. You are proficient
in
stonework, but metalwork, right?
Yes, let's go.
So with advantage.
Or add your proficiency if you haven't already got it added to it.
Okay.
So... Oh no, I think Stone's Cunning does give you advantage though.
I think it is advantage, yeah.
As a dwarf, but that's on history normally. But I don't know if you want to change it for this.
So was it investigation? I'm assuming.
So is history an intelligence check? I think it is. So
it is, yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
So that was that first roll. Yeah, I'm pretty certain this is right. So 23.
23. Right. From this, what you can absolutely see from the score patterning and from the impact mark is that whatever made these holes in the hull, it came from the inside. It does not appear to be anything piercing from out in space into the ship.
Okay.
And one other thing. While you're doing that and you're examining it, as you get down to the level of the inside of the ship, you turn your head slightly for a second and you see a face.
Do I recognize the face?
No. I mean, you recognize very few faces, and this isn't one of them. It's a buried body. Crushed in the wreckage.
Oh, an actual face. Right.
And you realize that you must have been walking over these as you came down. You push on, climbing higher and higher, and now you're fully in the shadow of this dagger-like ship that is suspended through the middle of the axle. But you can also see out. You're a little bit raised up now. You can see out over the sort of dip, the valley of the bottom of Martinsbane, and it looks very still, eerily still. Above you, you can see the hull of the ship, black, with the brushed black outside of the space-going attack vessel. But cut into the ship, you can see that there's an access hole. Seems to have been done with a laser. It's crudely cut. It's not meant to be there.
Someone's already been here. Well, we haven't got another option. We're going to have to go in, but... These are going to be cramped.
Do we have to go in? We can't walk on the outside?
Well,
On
my understanding... Well, sorry. My theatre of the mind is that the outside is now too sheer. Like, where the nose is broken off and have to go in.
So that the way that it's been... that it's lodged is that on the very underside is this hole cut in. But the outside of the ship isn't smooth. So in theory, you could climb your way around the top of this frigate ship to the top of the ship if you wanted to try that. Is it clear the setup?
Not at all. I'm really so confused. I'm so sorry, and I don't know if it's because I stopped listening at one point.
No.
I don't think I did, but I suddenly was like, I didn't think I thought we were on the ship, and then there was a body that was under the ship.
You have been walking up the side of Martinsbane, up the side of the inside of Martinsbane.
I got you.
That's where the body was. That's where the score marks were that Uriel was investigating.
That makes so much more sense. Great.
When you reach the bottom of the ship, there is a hole cut in the bottom.
Yeah.
But you could also try and climb your way up the outside.
So we can either go up into the ship through the hole, or we can go up the outside of the ship to get up to the bit through the door, the big door. I think I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Did those people, when we snuck past those people And they said, "Oh, I want to go home." Did they say we're gonna have to look in the ship and then go home? Are they still in there? Are they in there? Let's not.
I feel like they might be in the ship.
Maybe we should wait for them to go. Like, we'll just wait and then they'll go home. Like
We've waited long.
Sorry.
We've waited long enough.
Okay.
We've got to get to whoever's left, try and help them.
Okay.
Which way would you like to go, Uriel?
Our problem is that there's not many of us and there's lots of other people. But if you're on an alliance ship, an armada ship, they're pretty cramped. That's not going to count for much of a disadvantage. We can probably, 3 of us, make it through and just punch through anything that's in it.
Okay.
I think we just go straight through the ship.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Can we easily reach to the hole, or do we need to like boost people once again?
You can easily get in through the hole. Clearly someone's made it to get easy access.
Cool.
You all pull your way up into the ship. Now, suddenly, whereas before it was a huge open space, cavernous, now things are much tighter. You can see that this ship is built simply for war. It has very specific places. There's very specific things. It's like the inside of a submarine, almost one corridor, which seems to go all the way down and disappear into the blackness. There's the metal grating underneath your feet clanks as you walk, and you can smell both the burning of rubber around electrical cables, but also an exotic fragrance of smells almost like citrus fruit. But Uriel, you would know that is coming from the fuel leakage of the kind of fuel that powers armada ships, certainly at this size. There is one way to go. This corridor.
Right.
Well,
What was that, sorry?
We sneak. Is your shield still over us?
it's not, but I can do it again. It's very small, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's okay.
It will help very
nowhere to
much.
go, you're right. Okay,
Let's save it.
Just go. Yeah, save it.
Maybe I
No,
should
are
go
you stealthy?
first.
Yeah,
I think
stealth.
we'll stealth,
We don't
but
have pass without
I won't
trace.
do pass without a trace. All right.
It's gone.
And what's your order, yeah? So what you're on is basically a walkway, almost. You could just about get 2 abreast, but it would be easier to walk one by one.
I'll go first.
Maybe I should go first. I might have a bit more of an idea of what we're looking at.
Okay. There's only really one way to go, and I'm worried about you, Uriel.
Rather see anything that we're going to see first.
Okay.
Go at the back.
I'll go at the back. You go in the middle, Snippers.
I go in the middle.
You're a
Roll
squishy
Everybody roll
spellcaster.
me
You stay here. Safe
Everybody roll
in the
me.
middle.
a stealth check.
Oh, I should have cast it again.
Watch this.
Not bad.
Shit!
Okay.
I just dropped my
Higher than
dice.
I've rolled the last 2 stealth checks, so that's without pass without a trace.
I can add. Do I have to do it? Hang on, don't say your number yet. You can use. I'm going to use my reaction to add a d6 to Uriel's roll.
That's a reaction that you.
Yeah, it's my Cosmic Omen, Circle of Stars Druid.
So I can add d6.
You can add a d6 to that.
Thanks.
Oh, did it not help? Okay, well, I tried.
No. I'm very grateful. I got a 13.
I got a 14.
I'm in the middle and I got a 19.
There's 2 people in there with a weird gap between them.
My beer nearly came out my nose.
Or just 2 people.
No, but there's a weird gap. It looks like there should be 3. There's like
Sized gap.
it's like 2 people that don't like each other.
A little sized gap.
Okay, just give me 1 second.
Cosmic Omen is really cool. Basically, I roll a dice when I finish every long rest. If I get an even number, I get 3 uses of adding a d6 to someone else's roll. If I roll an odd number, I get 3 uses of taking away a d6 from someone's roll.
Oh, that's very cool.
So, you pace down this corridor. As you're moving, Uriel, in front of you, you see shadows moving purposefully around the gangplank, around this walkway. As you get closer and closer, you can see that they're not the same people as you saw before, but they seem to be doing a similar thing. Their voices start to come echoing down the corridor. Yeah, we're gonna need to get this, otherwise how else are we going to show that we've even got anywhere? We've come this far, we've got to get it. But look, I know what we need to get. It's not difficult for me to understand that, but it's your job to actually get the thing out without... And on this conversation goes. You realise they've not seen you yet. As you approach them, you can see the figures spread out around this walkway, basically trying to tear bits off the inside. It looks to you like a similar makeup to the last time you have, but there's fewer of them now. So you can see 4 figures, one of whom is standing, looks like they're trying to keep watch, and the other 3 are working on the inside of the ship. You feel like they've not seen you.
Take your lead, Uriel.
Is there any way to get past these without engaging with them?
Could talk to them nicely.
What would you like to try?
Well, I mean, this is a narrow corridor that we're in the ship, and there's one sort of, and is that like there's like a little room, or sort of like a widening that there are multiple people in?
So this is, if you imagine the inside of a submarine, all the walls are covered in things that you could interact with. You are on a metal walkway. Underneath that walkway, there's also space. So it looks like there could be space enough to move through that as well. But then there is... You haven't investigated trying to leave this walkway. There might be more of the ship to go to, but you've not seen evidence of that. You've not really looked for it. Is that what you wanted to... And they are spread out along the walls, trying to tear bits off the walls.
Right, okay.
But they're clumped.
Oh, Uriel wants to kick the shit out of these guys, but he also doesn't want to get delayed. Can I investigate to see, sort of, look to see if there is an alternative route, like other walkways?
Absolutely. As you just know that taking time to do these things may mean that there's more time to see you guys.
Yeah, that is what you're. So.
Okay, roll an investigation check.
Oh no, it's a 1, wasn't it?
No, that's a 7.
Okay.
Somehow more insulting. If it was a 1, at least it'd be funny.
Yeah, yeah, 7.
7.
So,
you sure you're not a
with
D8?
7.
Do check. It is an important.
I was about to say
get
it's like I've cut corners, but if I cut corners off a D8, I'd end up with a D20.
You haven't been rolling a D12.
Yeah. No, it's the big one. It's
Yeah. Okay.
With a 7, you don't see any kind of elegant way round, but you do see the obvious thing. And what's obvious is that there are massive holes gouging out of the hull of this ship. So, from those holes, you could reach the outside of the ship.
No.
We
Right.
consider just running past them really quickly. Just pelt it.
What do you think, Uriel?
Oh, I've just seen what that stat is. Maybe that's a bad idea. Uriel wouldn't know what his stat is.
No.
Right, okay. Uriel is obviously not in a great place right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wants to
Oh boy.
Got his friends with it.
wants to move towards where his brothers and sisters are, and doesn't want to dilly-dally any longer or take any shortcuts. But doesn't want to get delayed either. So I think he's going to walk up behind the one that hasn't spotted them yet. Say, get out of my way.
In the time that it has taken you to make this decision, as you walk up to them, they seem to hear something. They hear your footsteps. They turn. They look at you. You haven't caught them off guard.
Yeah.
But you are next to them. roll an intimidation check. Does anybody want to get in on this, or are we leaving it as is?
I don't think we'd
No,
know exactly what he was doing. I'll stand behind him, but not in a sort of...
I will lean out and wave.
Well, with that addition, that's a 13.
13. You see him flinch, and then, hey, we have someone here. Everybody roll initiative.
Yeesh. I should have done something. I should have done the thing I was going to do, and I didn't. I chickened out. Oh, that's shite initiative.
Oh, that's shite.
got 17.
I got a 3.
I got the 7.
Give me 1 second. So
This is where we have a battle map,
Uriel?
and it is a straight line.
it is
17.
Tenebris,
7.
Infinity.
3.
I want a Strictly Come Dancing RPG would even look like.
My God.
Okay, hang on.
A lot of dexterity rolls. Roll for costume. Costume malfunctions.
Yes! Oh my god, this should totally be like a one-page one-shot. I totally want this.
Got Len being like, so.
Roll for Bruce.
Oh, Brucey.
Right, so
Dancing the Cha-Cha-Cha, Matt Baker.
Little callback there to one of our one-shots.
this is the battle map. Think about, in front of you, there's one person on this walkway, Uriel. Uriel, you've walked forward, so you are standing right in front of that person. 10 feet behind that is Tenebris, and right behind that is Infinity. You can all see, you all have line of sight. Just behind, so 5 feet behind this person standing on the walkway, 3 other people are working on the walls. So to get from the wall to the walkway is not difficult, it's about 5 feet. They are all within 10 feet of you, Uriel. So this is a mob clustered basically in front of you.
Right.
4 of them total, right?
Yes,
5.
4 of them total.
4, yeah.
How tough do they look? Can I just get a sense of, are we dealing with really seasoned looters here, or are these just like people straight out of school?
It's pretty dark, but
Abandoned spaceship.
you get a sense that from their clothes, they look like they're kitted out. These people haven't just turned up off the streets to see what they can grab.
Okay.
Like, they came prepared. They came correct. The first thing that happens, Uriel, after you say that,
One of them grabs a book. Nerd!
Nerd.
is a shape to the left of you swings out, and that's a
Last time we were in combat.
When was the last time we were?
I don't know.
It's been a while because we had the whole bit when we were pushing the crate.
No, it would have been on the
that's true.
yeah, it was pushing the crate.
Yeah, but that
I wasn't
like
ready.
combat. It's been a really long time.
That's good, though.
Yeah, it was.
21 to hit.
Oh, that hits.
Oh, you're a beefy boy now,
and
right?
then,
I'm beefier. You're beefy boy.
Beefy boy.
you take 5 points of damage as what feels like a pneumatic piston from the top of this figure's arm connects with the side of your shoulder and knocks you backwards. Then the figure jumps down in front of you, and again it's going to roll that's an 18.
That also
Hit.
hits.
And let's just do the other one, and a nat 20.
Ooh.
So the piston catches you in the arm, and then you see as the whole their other forearm, the whole side, the blade of that forearm starts revving up, and it's a chainsaw arm essentially.
That's too
comes
much.
Awesome,
slashing,
and this is shit. Okay.
Sod you.
slashing at you from the other side, and then you take another 5 points of damage, and then another 15 points of damage on the crit.
Oof.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Right. Everyone's in front of me now, at least, right?
Well, that person isn't. So there's 2 people in front of you now, right in front of you, and then the other 2 are still have yet to do anything.
But they're still like in a direction.
Yeah, they're all.
They're not. No one's going to jump at me from the side anymore. Is what I mean.
Well, there's 2 people who are still on the side, so they could jump at you from the side. There's 2 people stood in front of you. Does that make sense?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
There's 2 people on the walkway, 2 people on the wall.
Okay.
So Uriel, now it's your turn.
Okay. So I'm going to take the attack action and do. So I get 2 attacks per action now because I'm a big boy.
Yeah, you are.
And this is unarmed strike.
So the person
What's your monk weapon
person who
first,
stood
right?
to you and the person who was stood there already.
I mean, the immediate reaction is to be the person who attacked me with a chainsaw. I'm gonna try and hit. So 2 attacks.
Remember, one of them is your monk weapon. Not.
So previously, it's just D6, right? So the first one.
But still, even though you're level 7, I don't know
Unarmed
monks well
Strike
enough.
was gone up, isn't it?
Well, it's 1d6 plus 3.
No, but that wouldn't be the bit that went up. It would be the dice potentially, with your monk level increasing. I'm not sure. I'm not good at monks, I'm afraid.
Well,
Did you build it on D&D Beyond?
yeah. I'm looking.
Okay,
at
it'll be right on D&D Beyond as long as you've got a monk weapon equipped.
Well, we're
His
counting
hands.
my hands as
It is D6. It is a D6.
right. So
Cool.
that's a 19 to hit.
That just seems low on your monk weapon. as well.
Oh, baby, that hits.
So that's 1d6 plus 3 for the first one. 4.
Excellent.
And then the second attack. 10 to hit.
That does not hit. So you.
And
Oh yeah.
Uriel is gonna. There's like something slightly cracks. He's just gonna like through gritted teeth be like, "Get off my home," and cast Searing Arc Strike.
Ooh,
So I can
what's that?
2 key points to cast Burning Hands as a bonus action.
Fuck. Burning hands is insane.
What does that do? And what does it look like? More important.
So I spend 2 key points. Actually no, because I did have an extra one, so I've now got 6 key points left. So Burning Hands is a range of 15 feet. Basically, in Uriel's case, an arc of electricity, sort of like a Jacob's ladder, sparks between his fingers and shoots out in front of him in a cone. And
Excellent.
Does
that catches everyone.
Yeah, and seeing as I was going to spend it anyway, I will spend another key point to add another d6 to the damage. So,
Angry monk, let's go.
I'm going to get this done quick. I'm going to take them out, guys.
Take them.
So that's, I believe, is 4d6 damage. But so I have a... Right, I've not actually cast a spell with Uriel before. So do I need to roll to hit with this?
With this one, no, they make
Do we get
dexterity
dex
saves. They get saves, yeah.
Get some more d6s. Oh. So
So
this
what's
is
your? Do you know what your save is?
dex of 13.
So Ali, you roll the saves.
And
Oh yeah.
is there something I can just do with that? And this is my bonus action. But
Nice.
Better now.
Does it automatically cast at first level?
so I've spent a key point to increase the spell's level.
Oh, I see. So you've increased it to level 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
What have we got? How much?
So I have to do my damage first, do I?
They're going to take at least half.
roll your damage.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Right, so the first guy... The first guy takes 10 points of damage. That was the one that I'd already hit.
They all take the same amount. So.
Oh, is it not rolled per person? Right.
You roll once.
No. Just roll 4d6. So do it now.
that
Let's
was
scratch
10.
everything else. Okay. So they all fail their dex saves. What does this look like? What does it sound like?
He's kind of Uriel's done like a 1-2 combo with the two hands, so like pang, pang, and then as he sort of said, get out of my home, just put his two hands together, and there's like an arc that builds between his fingers and just pushes it towards them. And there's like a burst of plasma that drains some of his internal battery and then just pushes through the group that's in front of him.
One of them on the side instantly just fizzles up and burns completely, just a black splodge melted against the side. The one behind you, the person who saw you, falls to the floor and pulls himself back up, but they look bad. The other one, hanging onto the wall, again looks in terrible shape, but they're still just hanging on. The person who punched you in the face and then tried to cut you in half watches you as the pulse passes through them. They don't seem to be massively upset by it. And now we come to the two still on the wall. Deeply, deeply hurt. Panting. They turn to look at you, Uriel. They turn to look at you, Tenebrous, and you, Infinity. And then one of them is going to try and run past you, Uriel, to get to you, Tenebrous. So that will trigger an attack of opportunity if you have your reaction.
I haven't used a reaction, right? I just used the bonus action.
Yeah.
Do I roll 2 attack dice?
No,
just one.
It's just the one, because that's just for action.
Maybe
So it's only on your turn.
Maybe they decided to leave. Maybe this one.
They're definitely not.
That's a 15 hit.
Yep, that hits. Roll damage.
Let's use a different... Actually, all of these d6s are failing me. Right. That's 8 points of damage.
Instant snap reflex. You hit. The neck goes. They fall to the floor. The other one, looking at what's just happened, reaches for their waist and pulls out a long, thin, mean-looking rifle. Cock it, aim it at you, Tenebrous. And then...
What did Tenebrous do to them?
I swear to God. Had less hit points is what they did.
That is a 19 plus numbers to hit. Is that, will that do it?
She's nodding.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah, that's
Okay.
Sorry, I will be loud.
Podcast.
And so you take 3 points of damage as
I'll go with that. That seems great.
a bolt of molten metal goes
Ow!
straight through your thigh and right out the other side, leaving a kind of singed hole in your leg. And now, Tenebrous, it's your turn.
It's going to be nice, but I'm not. I really wanted to be nice. I really wanted to be nice. I so wanted to be nice. I am going to. Oh no, where is it? Does the person who just shot me? Do they have a metal arm? Do they have any melee weapons? Or melee attacks?
Yeah, they look like they do.
See.
You take the same spell I did. I think you might have done. Carry on.
Oh, maybe. I'm going to look, well, it's thematic for me, right? I'm going to look really mad at them and say,
No, it's not the same.
and say, okay, you're with us now. And I'm going to ask them to take wisdom saving throw.
Amazing.
They roll a natural 3.
Okay. I should have gone for the other one because it has just been their go, but it's more poetic to go for them. 'cause
More
I'm mad at
poetic,
them.
yeah.
Okay, they are charmed by me, and they work for freaking me now, okay? They are going to attack their own friend when it's next their turn.
What spell is that?
Crown of Madness.
Oh!
Concentration.
Great spell.
They're charmed by me for a minute if I keep concentration. It's visible on them that they're charmed, and they have to use their action before moving on each of its turns to make a melee attack against a creature that I can choose.
Dope.
Yeah.
You do this,
Maintain that.
and as it's happening, you feel the headache You know when you wake up without a headache and you've had a headache for like days and days and it's suddenly clean? It's like a bright, clean, clear sensation and it's like you can see better. That is the sensation which floods through your mind. The anger, the fear that you've been feeling is suddenly erased for a second as you feel the awesome power of you and the colony working together.
I feel like I'm reaching out, gripping their head. I'm just going to hold my hand there and they're just kind of like stuck, like
as this is happening,
like
you can feel, and it's not your hands that are feeling this, but it's the broader sensation that you have. You can feel yourself clamping down on the brain of this person, and you can feel that brain starting to slowly give beneath the pressure of the force you are applying to it. Infinity, it's your turn.
Can I do one more thing?
Oh, yeah.
Can I just telepathically speak to the other person who was...
This is a bonus action.
Yeah, bonus action telepathy, and just say, you should have got out of their way.
Make an intimidation roll.
It's too late now, motherfuckers. Guess who's dying?
Yeah, not very much. Oh, wait, well, I'm really intimidating.
Yeah, I realised that my modifier is minus quite a bit.
15.
Mine's a -2 for intimidation, which is quite funny. That Infinity and Uriel are the minus intimidation ones.
Yeah.
And the little cute
you
Nebris is
see
like...
Chainsaw Arm check themselves for a second, as if trying to calculate what's going on. Infinity.
Yes. Hello, I'm Infinite Sky 6000, and immediately I'm going to throw what looks like a little drone, comes out of her palm and like goes into... Who's left? How many are left?
There is one person who is looking in serious bad shape and has got kind of swivel eyes at the moment, and then another person who is stood directly in front of you, still like a pillar of strength.
Sorry, in which case I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bonus action, use one of my wild shapes to go into my archer form, so all the stars like change and like coalesce, and just immediately throw like a bolt of radiant damage towards them, as it like all the power builds. They're the one that's like in front of Uriel, chainsaw arm, the one that's not gone squiggly, if that makes sense. And I make a ranged spell attack, but what do I add to that? Where is it gone? Oh, a lot. That is a 22 to hit.
That does hit.
And then it's 1d8. I haven't done this for so long. I think the last time I did...
D&D doesn't have to be about combat, everyone.
9 points of damage.
9 points of damage.
That's my bonus action. For my action...
Yes, it is.
What shall we do today? Do they look hurt?
They are starting to show a bit of damage, yes. You can see that the body armor that they're wearing has been largely melted off.
I can cast a spell, because that wasn't a spell. That was just a thing. Sorry, I was going to do something else, but then I realised there's only one of them and it's not worth doing. You know what? It is worth doing. I am going to do it. I'm going to cast Wither and Bloom. I'm sorry if this breaks your spell, Tenebris. I'm going to send a little drone out into the centre that then kind of like sends out these little like wires that like plug into the necks of the two baddies and like drain their life force. And at the same time, another wire comes out and hits Uriel. And so they make Constitution saving throws. Uriel, you can spend one of your hit dice and add +5 plus a d4 that I roll. You can add +9 to one of your hit dice and get those hit points back. And they take lots of damage.
Where are my hits?
A 4 for the big dude and a 18 for the little.
18 succeeds, so he takes... Oh, I rolled really badly. So the one that didn't succeed takes 6 points of damage. The one who did succeed takes 3.
How do I know what my hit dice is? Is it my D6 from previously?
It's what you roll to level up. I think you're a D8.
Oh, so that won't be... When
you take a short rest, it'll say... If you click short rest, don't press any of the other buttons. It'll say like a D8 or like a hit die.
D8, yeah.
Yeah, so roll a D8 and add 9.
plus 9.
Yeah.
You get that.
The person under the person under the influence of Shamani's power just crumples. All the life energy is sucked out of them.
Sorry, Tenebris.
The large person standing in front of you, Uriel. He checks, he looks, and Infinity, I want you to roll an intimidation check.
Oh, okay. Oh, I haven't got good intimidation. No. Yeah. 4.
Grr. I know I just electrocuted your friend to death, but please go away.
Please leave now.
What was it? Sorry?
4. Total.
He looks down, readies himself. He's going to fight on. Okay, we go to the top. And he's going to roll to hit you again, Uriel. That's 16, 17, and a 17.
Yep, all 3 hit.
All right. Again with the piston, and then cutting across you. He does 4 plus 8, so 12 plus 5, 17 points of damage.
Just as we got that heal off. Oh, shit. Hang on, so that was 10. I was originally there. 17 points of damage. Yeah. Okay.
How are you looking?
About half as good as I was when I started the fight.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Okay. And now, Uriel, it's your turn.
Yeah. So, is Flurry of Blows one key point and you just attack with another attack dice? Is that basically right?
So you do your normal attack, and then Flurry of Blows is your bonus action, and you get to do another...
You get another 2.
Another 2, I think,
Right, well,
yeah.
so, I mean, obviously, Uriel's absolutely going to try and slap the shit out of this guy.
So you'll get, if you were to do it, you would get 4 punches, basically.
Yeah, but I don't have to
You use
declare
your
it.
attacks.
I do the attack action first.
Yeah.
So Uriel will attack the person in front. Hit with the arm.
Excellent.
That is a nat 20 to hit.
There it is.
Get him out your home.
So that's one attack. What's the next one? Let's do them all at once.
That's an 11 to hit.
Okay, so the first one hits, and then so roll the damage on the nat 20.
Is that 2 of my attack dice, or do I just double it?
Just double it.
Double it plus modifier, or roll...
Double it, then add the modifier.
Right. That is 11 points of damage.
The cock punch, your signature move.
Never fails.
They don't look good on it. They are starting to look... you can see them just scanning for the exits, but they don't really have anywhere to move yet, and they're still not down. There's still some fight left in them. Bloodied but not bowed.
Yeah, I'll spend another key point then. Let's just go on the ground. Specifically, I want to headbutt him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Taste the barcode.
I'm going to grab him with the metallic. I've punched him twice with the metallic hand. Grab him with the non-metallic hand and just headbutt him.
Yeah.
Right.
So 2 attacks again.
I love to see it.
That is a 21 and
Yep.
nat 1. So
Okay. Which one hits?
the first one. Oh, what do you mean?
And then you try and headbutt him and you completely miss him.
Well, no, I like to imagine that I headbutt him twice. The first one I just hurt myself. Like ah! Do it again. And I do. Oh my.
Okay, roll damage.
Jesus! 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. It's looking bad now. Looking around, there's no one to help him out now. Tenebris, we come to you again.
I am very cross. I am going to just having sort of. Oh. I'm still here.
That's nice.
You look rather different now, Tenebris. You suddenly look like
Yeah.
Infinity.
Oh, have we all gone into the wrong order now?
Sorry.
It's fine.
Sorry about that. I don't know.
Things get confusing in combat.
Yeah,
I clicked.
let's just keep going.
I took my hand that was out. I hesitated as.
Sorry, Bates. Can you mime like talking
Kills my
whilst we
friend.
do this? So yeah. So
And
go
then
go for it, Tenebris.
And then I swipe across with my hand, like swiping across the other guy, and I'm gonna cast Tash's Mind Whip, and I would like them to make a intelligence saving throw.
Fantastic. I don't think anyone noticed.
That was flawless from me there, I think. Yeah.
That was really good.
And
I'm sorry that
That's
I
an
killed the
8.
guy you were controlling.
Great. Okay. I'm just going to roll a little damage here for you. Just don't mind me.
Just a little.
Little nice little bit of damage. Oh, that was 8 damage.
good.
And on this person's next turn, they can either move action or a bonus action?
Nice.
Only one. They
right.
can't 3 actions this round.
They are looking rough now.
Done none.
Bleeding. Part of their face is partially burnt for Uriel from your plasma rays, and they're starting to look unsure, shivering almost in their what remains of their armor. Infinity, we come to you.
Yeah, I'll whip another bit of energy at them. A natural 20.
Oh my days.
So that's doubled. The 5 is 10 plus 5. It's 15 points of damage.
And with that, their head just explodes.
I'll go. Sorry, Uriel. I was going to let you do it, but sorry.
I just turn around slowly with like my face covered in this guy's blood. Like,
sorry.
it's all right.
Are you?
Let's just
Okay.
get moving, shall we?
Should we quickly check them and just see like whether what they're here for?
We will pick up on that deeply important question next time.
Splattered with blood.
Nothing remains, and you are left in the dank, dark hold of Martinsbane. Well done, guys.
We're doing a
Happening.
dungeon.
There's
This is basically a
combat.
dungeon. It's a dungeon. This is
Yeah,
exciting.
You found
We
a
have found a
dungeon.
dungeon.
We have a dungeon.
If there is a dragon in here,
No. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that was so
We
good.
are
We've got better at
only
combat.
slightly Today we're at level 7.
We're level
Turns
7.
out it's
The last
much
time we were
better
level
at
3.
Fighting than level 3. Because we're overrunning a bit, I'm gonna
We're
keep
doing
it
root
really,
rooms
really.
and
I'm delighted that they were in a nice, neat configuration for
shooting.
burning hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, right. We're going to wrap up very, very quickly. There's some very important things you should know, which is where to find us on social media so you can follow us.
Where?
If you're watching from our new Twitch channel. Thank you so much. We are twitch.tv/RPGeeks DnD. Yeah, sorry. And it's a new Twitch channel, so we kind of need all the help we can get. We're trying to be affiliates, which is a thing that apparently you ought to be.
So it means you can
stream
subscribe
lots
to
more.
us.
You can.
Yes, you have to follow. You have to click follow, and there's a little heart. And if you unfollow us, I think it breaks the heart.
Sure, but no, but don't do. But then
Don't do
once we're affiliate, you can subscribe.
then you can subscribe. Okay,
Yeah.
but right
And
now,
then you'll get
please
extra
follow us.
bonuses.
Yes, we are also at RPGeeks DnD on various other social media platforms, including Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and YouTube.
Yeah.
We also have various podcast outlets, so you can catch up on this show if you're not already on YouTube or podcast.
And oh boy, do we have merch now? Yeah, we do. rpgeeks.tmail.com. It's exciting. We haven't got any yet because I haven't put the order through. But that's my bad. But it's very exciting. Some people do have things already, so don't be left out. Go to rpgeeks.tmail.com. Get your shirt. You can get your favorite character on a shirt. I am planning on making a Fate Weaver shirt at some point, so Ali gets a shirt because at the moment he doesn't have one. He doesn't have one. So
ask
we'll
Andy.
work on
He's
that.
probably in chat how much he likes his t-shirt, unless he's on a date, which seems to happen a lot. But
And if you're watching on the podcast or YouTube and have no idea who Andy is, come join us on Twitch because you might not know. But he's there.
And
You'll see him.
you can also have chats to us and Andy, who's now apparently the 5th member of the RP Geeks. On my Discord, there is an RP Geeks discussion channel to chatting about what's been happening in the latest episode.
That's
So
good fun.
do check that out as well. If you don't, you can find my Discord if you go on my social media. There'll be links to it.
Oh gosh, that's confusing now, isn't it? We should get a link to your Discord on our stuff.
Yeah.
We'll work it out. We'll be fine.
Okay.
Also, come see us at New Scientist Live. We are we are at New Scientist Live. The early bird is still going. I think we've extended it for another week till the end or till like the 25th of September. So you can get early bird tickets. They're cheaper. You can get full access to the weekend, which means you can also see Simon talking on the Saturday and talking to me on the Saturday. We're doing a little extra Q&A in the middle of the floor. It'll be great fun. And then on the Sunday at 4 p.m, RP Geeks are the final show of the entire
The
event.
headline act. Everything else was a
Headline
build-up.
act, definitely.
That's
Definitely how it works. And it'll be interactive. We'll be playing our wonderful game that invented by Shamini Bundell herself, New Jeans, Please, along with sort of we helped as
got
did
some this week.
Dr. Khalil Berlowy, who we love.
I got some.
And
I got these this week.
Oh, the foot showing. We're showing
what are we
feet.
doing? We're not showing feet because we're still doing the podcast.
No, I got some new jeans.
Save this for Twitch.
We all got to see Simon's jeans, everyone. They were new, they were lovely.
They were great.
Little bit of ankle there as well.
Hello.
Like an Amish porno.
But go to live.newscientist.com.
Line.
Live.newscientist.com.
Live.newscientist.com.
No, bad.
Strapline.
Thank you so much for joining us. Tell all your friends. Please tell your friends. And we'll see you next week. Next Monday. Next Mondays. Goodbye.
Bye.